Hello, and welcome. I'm really glad you're here tonight. Settling in, letting the weight of the day gently melt away. Before we begin this calm and immersive journey into the ancient world of the Aztecs, I want you to know that your presence here truly means a lot. If you enjoy these peaceful historical stories, it would support the channel so much if you subscribe. It helps these soothing narrations reach more people who need a place to unwind, relax, and drift into deeper sleep. Thank you, truly. Now, take a slow breath in and a long, unhurried breath out. Let your shoulders soften, your hands rest gently, and your mind loosen its grip on anything stressful. Tonight, we're going to travel quietly into the heart of an ancient civilization, one filled with color, ritual, cosmic belief, towering temples, and the rhythm of a world that once rested high above the Valley of Mexico. As your breathing grows softer, imagine yourself floating through a warm twilight sky. Below you, the vast highlands stretch into the distance, surrounded by mountains whose peaks fade into a purple horizon. The air is calm. Somewhere far below, a quiet lake reflects the last traces of sunset. This is the basin of Mexico, long before the arrival of Europeans, long before the world we know. It is here, in this valley held between mountains and water, that the Aztec Empire, or as they called themselves, the Mexica, slowly rose from humble beginnings. Let the gentle atmosphere settle as we drift back in time. The Aztecs did not begin as an empire. They began as wanderers. For generations, they lived as a nomadic people, carrying their stories, their gods, and their dreams across the landscape. According to their own traditions, they came from a place called Aztlan, a distant and almost mythic homeland. Nobody knows exactly where Aztlan was, or if it ever existed in the way the stories suggest. But for the Aztecs, it was a memory that bound them together, a reminder that they came from somewhere sacred, guided by divine purpose. Picture them traveling through valleys and forests, their belongings carried on their backs, families moving slowly, priests leading rituals at twilight. Every night, the stars overhead shimmered like patterns drawn by the gods themselves. In the glow of small fires, they whispered prophecies of a chosen land, a place where they were meant to build their new home. You can imagine the sound of their steps through soft earth, through tall grass rustling in the wind, through the edges of lakes where reeds swayed gently. Their journey was long, uncertain, but filled with quiet determination. They believed their patron deity, Huitzilopochtli, the god of sun and destiny, was guiding them toward a sign. Only when they saw this sign would their wandering end. Let your mind drift deeper as we float above this ancient path. A soft road unfurling beneath their feet, lit by torchlight, surrounded by the calm darkness of the natural world. After many years of traveling, the Mexica reached the basin that would one day become the center of their civilization. At the time, it was a complex landscape filled with lakes, marshy ground, islands, and other powerful city-states already settled around the water. Some of these cities were beautiful and influential: Teotihuacan, long collapsed but still immense in ruins; Tepanec power rising in the west; Texcoco, known for poets and philosophers, and other Nahua-speaking peoples already well established. When the Mexica arrived, they were not seen as noble or powerful. They were considered outsiders, rough, poor, and unfavored. Many settled peoples saw them as laborers, not equals. But the Mexica had a resilience rooted deep in their hardship. They accepted work others would not. Clearing swamps, carrying loads, harvesting reeds, fishing, farming small patches of land. Slowly, quietly, they survived. One evening, as the legend is told, they came upon a small island in the lake of Texcoco. The sky was soft with morning light, and the water shimmered with a golden reflection. There, perched on a cactus growing from a stone, was the sign their god had promised: an eagle with wings spread, devouring a serpent. According to their prophecy, This was the place they were meant to build their city, the place where their destiny would truly begin. Let the image settle gently into your mind, the calm lake, the rising sun, the eagle poised on the cactus. Not dramatic or violent, but still and quiet, as if the world paused to acknowledge a turning point in history. This small island would grow into Tenochtitlan, the heart of the Aztec Empire, one of the most remarkable cities of the ancient world. As the Mexica began building, they had almost nothing except determination. The island was tiny, the land marshy and unstable, but they learned to weave cane and mud to create foundations known as chinampas, floating agricultural fields that expanded their territory and produced abundant crops. With time, these chinampas became a network of fertile gardens, canals, and walkways. The city slowly rose from the water like something imagined in a dream. As we glide over these early years, imagine the sound of wooden canoes moving through narrow canals. Imagine the soft slap of water against the sides, the gentle splash of paddles, the distant call of birds. The city was vibrant even in its beginnings. Homes built of reeds, market stalls bustling with daily life, and small shrines where candles burned softly at dawn and dusk. The Mexica worked together to strengthen their new home, establishing leaders, councils, and social roles. They were still not a great power yet, but seeds of greatness were quietly growing. With every year, Tenochtitlan expanded. More chinampas, more homes, more canals carved like drifting blue pathways. The Mexica observed the other city-states around the lake, learning their languages, their trade systems, their political alliances. And slowly, steadily, they began weaving themselves into the fabric of the region. The air around you stays warm and soft as you drift deeper into this ancient world. The Aztecs believed the universe was alive with spiritual energy. Every mountain, lake, stone, and flame held meaning. Their temples were not simply structures but bridges between the earthly and the divine. Their calendar was a living cycle of time, where each day carried spiritual weight. The stars overhead told them when to plant crops, when to wage war, when to hold festivals, and when to honor their gods with ceremony. As night settled over Tenochtitlan, fires flickered along the canals. Families gathered beneath reed roofs, sharing maize, beans, cacao, and fresh lake fish. Children listened to stories about the gods and heroes, stories of creation, of battles fought in the sky, of cosmic struggles that shaped the world. The Aztecs believed that every sunrise was a victory of the gods, and every sunset an invitation for humans to offer gratitude. Such stories filled the city with meaning, rhythm, and unity. Drift a little deeper now, breathe softly, and let your mind rest in this peaceful ancient world. Though the Aztecs would one day grow into a formidable empire, their beginnings were humble, woven from hardship, faith, survival, and patience. They rose from wanderers to settlers, from laborers to city builders, and in time, from a small island village to a powerful force that shaped the history of Mesoamerica. For tonight, we stay in these early years, gentle, quiet, full of promise. You are floating slowly above the glowing reflection of torches on the water, the cool night breeze brushing softly across the lake, the distant hum of voices drifting up from the canals. The world is calm, still, and safe. Let the quiet hope of Tenochtitlan cradle your mind, and when you're ready, we'll continue this journey in the next part, exploring the rise of one of the most captivating civilizations the world has ever known. For now, rest easy. The night is peaceful, and history is holding you gently. Take a slow, deep breath and exhale gently. Let everything around you soften as we drift further into the world of the early Aztecs, the Mexica, and the slow, patient rise of their island city. Tonight's journey will take us deeper into the transformation of Tenochtitlan, from a small settlement floating on the silent waters of Lake Texcoco into a growing center of life, culture, and identity. The air is calm, the water is still, and the night wraps softly around the valley as we begin. Imagine yourself floating once again above the shimmering lake. The stars reflect on the surface like hundreds of gentle lanterns. The horizon glows faintly with moonlight, and distant mountains form a protective circle around the basin. The world feels peaceful, suspended between water and sky. Below, the lights of early Tenochtitlan flicker like clusters of tiny embers. What began as a refuge, an unlikely patch of land chosen by prophecy, is now slowly becoming a living, breathing community. The Mexica, once wanderers, now wake each morning surrounded by the quiet sound of water brushing against reed walls. Canoes glide by with rhythm and ease, steered by people who have learned every curve and current of the lake. The smell of fresh maize dough warming on clay griddles floats into the air. Families step out of their homes, stretching as dawn breaks, the sky shifting from deep blue to a soft pink. These early mornings in Tenochtitlan were moments of calm, cycles of renewal that connected the city's heartbeat to the rising sun as you breathe gently. Let that calm settle into your chest, slow, steady, soothing. During these early years, the Mexica formed alliances with neighboring city-states, not as conquerors but as careful observers. They learned from older cultures, the Toltecs, the Tepanecs, and the remnants of ancient Teotihuacan. Through trade, they acquired pottery techniques, ritual knowledge, new crops, and the architectural ideas that would one day shape their towering temples. Picture artisans sitting outside their reed homes, shaping clay with deliberate, mindful movements. Their hands move slowly, smoothing the edges of bowls and jars. Nearby, weavers create cloth dyed in soft reds and blues using natural pigments. Children carry water from the canals, laughing quietly, their reflections shimmering beneath them. Everything is simple, quiet, yet filled with purpose. In the calm of twilight, priests climb small wooden platforms to observe the sky. For the Aztecs, the heavens were not distant. They were an active map of divine intention. The sun's path, the phases of the moon, the movement of Venus, each carried meaning. The priests watched these patterns closely, recording them in memory and tradition, ensuring that the people remained aligned with the cosmic order they believed sustained the world. As your breath slows, allow the gentle rhythm of their days to draw you inward. Soon, Tenochtitlan began to grow, not just in size but in structure. One of the most remarkable creations of the Mexica was the chinampas system, a method of farming that turned the shallow parts of the lake into floating gardens. These rectangular fields were built by layering mud, reeds, and sediment until they formed fertile plots anchored by the roots of willow trees. From above, these chinampas looked like emerald pathways stretching across the water, geometric islands of green surrounded by clear canals. Canoes moved between them carrying vegetables, flowers, and baskets of freshly picked produce. Imagine drifting above these gardens in the soft morning light. Dew glistens on leaves. Farmers quietly tend to maize, beans, squash, tomatoes, chilies, and bright marigold flowers used for rituals. The air is cool but warming, filled with the scent of wet soil and lake water. The chinampas were not only ingenious, they were harmonious with nature, sustainable, abundant, and alive. They allowed the city to feed a growing population while staying connected to the water that shaped its identity. As Tenochtitlan expanded outward with chinampas, it also grew upward. Wooden walkways were replaced with stone causeways. Homes of reeds became homes of adobe and volcanic rock. Small shrines became larger temples. Slowly, the city took on the organization of a rising power. The Mexica divided their society into calpulas, neighborhood communities that shared land, labor, and responsibilities. Each calpuli had its market areas, schools, and small temples. Education was important. Even commoners sent their children to learn skills, crafts, and the stories of the gods. Imagine the sound of lessons being taught softly at dawn. Teachers speaking in calm tones, children repeating phrases, learning the cycles of the calendar, the responsibilities of adulthood, and the stories of how the world was formed. Their learning was not rushed. It blended with the rhythm of life, passed from generation to generation like a whispered inheritance. The Mexica believed that life was balanced on the edge of cosmic struggle, light and darkness, creation and destruction. And so rituals filled the city with a sense of connection to both the natural and spiritual realms. Incense smoke drifted into the air, curling upward toward the sky. Drums beat slowly during ceremonies, their deep tones resonating across the lake like distant heartbeats. Let the sound of those drums settle into your imagination. Slow, steady, hypnotic as the population grew, so did the city's influence. The Mexica became skilled diplomats and strategic allies. They observed the politics of the valley carefully, avoiding direct confrontation until they had the strength to stand confidently. In time, they aligned themselves with the powerful Tepanec kingdom, gaining military knowledge and political leverage. But even as they partnered with stronger neighbors, the Mexica never lost their identity as the chosen people of Huitzilopochtli. Their traditions remained rooted in the belief that they had a destiny, a place in the cosmic order that they were slowly fulfilling. As we drift deeper into this part of the story, picture Tenochtitlan at sunset. The sky glows orange and gold. Canoes pass along the water carrying goods. Feathers, cacao beans, obsidian blades, woven mats, and clay vessels. The city hums gently with life. Lanterns glow softly along the causeways. Families gather to share evening meals, the air filled with warmth and togetherness. The city is peaceful, cradled within the lake like a jewel resting in a quiet palm. But beneath this calm surface, ambition was growing, quiet, steady, inevitable. The Mexican knew that to survive among powerful neighbors, they would one day need to rise further, to claim their place. Yet this part of their story is still ahead of us. For now, we remain in these transitional years filled with learning, building, and strengthening. A soft breeze moves across the water, rippling the surface in delicate waves, carrying with it the distant echo of music and the scent of evening fires. Tenochtitlan rests gently below you, expanding, evolving, coming alive as you breathe softly. Let the rise of the city soothe your thoughts and slow your mind. There is no hurry, no tension, only a civilization gently unfolding in the embrace of nature and time. The Aztecs' path from humble wanderers to powerful builders was gradual, shaped by patience and devotion. And tonight, you've drifted through these early, peaceful chapters of their history. When you're ready, we'll move into the next phase, the moment when the Mexica begin forging alliances that will change the valley forever, setting the stage for the birth of an empire. But that will come in the next part. For now, let your breath stay slow, let your thoughts dissolve, and allow the calm waters of Lake Texcoco to cradle your imagination as you rest. Take a slow breath in and let it drift out gently. With every exhale, feel your mind soften just a little more, as though the edges of the day are dissolving like mist over calm water. Tonight, we continue our quiet journey through the early Aztec world, a story unfolding softly across the surface of a lake, shaping itself slowly into an empire. Below you, Tenochtitlan glows again in the night. The lights shimmer on the water like golden fireflies resting upon a mirror. The city feels larger, more defined than before. The walkways are stronger. The canals are busier. The gardens are greener. The people's confidence is growing, even if the rest of the valley doesn't see their future yet. Now, let's drift closer. Imagine floating into an early morning scene. Mist rises off the water in delicate threads, soft and weightless. The sun is still hiding beyond the mountains, but a faint blue glow touches the sky. Canoes slide through the fog almost like ghosts, their paddles dipping quietly into the lake. You can almost hear the hushed rhythm. Dip, glide, dip, glide. As the city begins to wake on the island, builders begin their day. Stones are carried, mud is mixed, wood is cut. Each sound blends gently into a low morning hum, comforting and rhythmic. The Mexica people have grown accustomed to challenges, soft ground, fluctuating water levels, storms that roll in unexpectedly, but they adapt like reeds bending with the wind. Their city is not built in opposition to nature, but in partnership with it. Breathe slowly as we drift into the heart of these early transformations. Tenochtitlan is now more than a settlement. It is beginning to resemble a center of culture. Small temples rise above homes. Murals appear on walls, painted in earthy reds, yellows, and blacks. Priests walk quietly along sacred paths, whispering prayers to the gods. The smell of burning copal, a sweet, resinous incense, curls into the air in gentle ribbons as you imagine this. Let your body relax just a little more. Your breath deepens. Your thoughts dissolve into the warm haze of the ancient valley. During these years, one thing becomes clear. The Mexica possess not only determination, but strategy. They observe the politics of the valley carefully. They understand who holds power, and they understand how power shifts. This time, the dominant force in the region is the Tepanec Empire, centered at the city of Azcapotzalco. Its influence is widespread, its army strong, and its rulers experienced in political control. The Mexica, still considered newcomers and not fully respected by older city-states, know that open confrontation would be unwise, so instead, they choose something more subtle: patience. The Mexica align with the Tepanecs, offering their military service in exchange for protection and the chance to learn the systems of governance, diplomacy, and warfare that larger powers use. Over time, Mexica warriors gain a reputation for discipline and resilience. Their skill in battle becomes known throughout the valley, even among those who still see them as lesser. Picture a quiet training ground at sunset. Warriors practice with obsidian-tipped spears. Their movements slow and deliberate, shields painted with simple patterns rest on the ground beside them. The atmosphere is calm, focused, almost meditative. Every strike, every stance, every breath is part of a ritual of preparation. Yet even in training, there is no sense of aggression here in this sleep. Story, only the slow, grounded rhythm of discipline, like a heartbeat echoing through the valley as years pass. Tenochtitlan prospers. Its chinampas grow more abundant. Its people trade more widely. Its markets fill with pottery, woven fabrics, feathers from distant lands, shimmering obsidian blades, cacao beans, gourds, baskets, and countless everyday tools. Walk with your imagination through one of these early markets. Stalls made from wooden frames hold bright piles of maize in different colors: yellow, red, blue, and white. Vendors offer hot tamales wrapped in steaming leaves. Children chase each other between rows of clay pots. Musicians play soft rhythms on flutes and drums. Everything feels alive, sensory, yet deeply calming under the warm morning sun. The Aztecs understood the value of order and community. Even marketplaces had rules, overseen by officials who ensured fairness. Trade was not chaotic, it was a carefully balanced part of society. As the city becomes wealthier, its architectural ambitions grow. The first true Templo Mayor, the Great Temple, begins to take shape. At this early stage, it is smaller, modest compared to its later grandeur. But it is meaningful. Built atop the island's center, it represents the dual forces the Mexica believed shaped the cosmos. Huitzilopochtli, god of the sun, war, and destiny. Tlaloc, god of rain, fertility, and storms. The temple is a reminder that life requires both struggle and nourishment, sun and rain, persistence and blessing. Imagine its construction. Stones carried one by one. Prayers whispered with each new layer. Incense rising in spirals toward the sky. Everything is done with purpose, rhythm, and spiritual connection. Your breath mirrors that rhythm now. Steady, even, quiet. As the city grows spiritually and physically, alliances and tensions in the valley shift. Some neighboring cities grow uneasy at the rise of the Mexica. Others admire their discipline. Some see opportunity in aligning with them. The political landscape becomes more complex, more layered. The Mexica begin forming bonds with Texcoco, a city renowned for its poets, philosophers, astronomers, and legal scholars. Its rulers are wise, influential, and known for building systems of law and culture that set a standard for the region. Imagine walking through Texcoco's corridors of learning in your mind. Scholars seated beneath blossoming trees, reciting verses, musicians practicing harmonies, students learning astronomy by tracing constellations on clay tablets. This connection influences the Mexica deeply. From Texcoco, they learn elegance, philosophy, and refined governance. From their alliances with warriors, they learn strategy, and from themselves, they learn resilience. All these elements mix slowly, like colors swirling in clear water, forming the early foundation of what will one day become an empire. And still, we are only in the rise, only in the quiet build-up, only in the groundwork. As night falls again over the valley, fires glow in homes built along the canals. The water reflects their light like a constellation shimmering below. Fishermen paddle through the darkness, guided by the faint glow of torches. The moon hangs above the mountains like a silver guardian. The world is quiet, held gently in the cradle of the lake. Let that quiet settle into you. Let your shoulders relax. Let your thoughts drift like canoes on the surface of the night. In these early centuries, the Mexica are building not just a city, but an identity, a cultural tapestry woven from many influences, all tied together by their belief that destiny is guiding them. They do not know yet how vast their empire will become. They do not know yet how the world will change. They simply build, day by day, breath by breath, stone by stone, and you, drifting in this story, can feel the serenity of that slow rise, the comfort of a civilization growing from devotion, patience, and unity. The next part of our journey will take us into the formation of alliances that change everything. Alliances that will shape the Aztec Empire as the world remembers it. But for now, breathe softly. Let your mind rest in the warm glow of this ancient valley and drift deeper into calm. Take a long, slow breath and let it drift out gently, almost like a feather floating toward the surface of calm water. Tonight, we continue our journey across the still, shimmering waters of ancient Lake Texcoco, where Tenochtitlan, once a small island rising from reeds and soft soil, is slowly transforming into something far more powerful. But this transformation does not happen through conquest alone. It begins with a moment of upheaval, fear, opportunity, and quiet determination. The moment that will eventually lead the Mexica toward an alliance that reshapes the entire valley. The evening sky settles around you like a blanket of fading gold. Below, the lake reflects every shade of twilight. Pale oranges melting into blues, with thin threads of purple drifting beneath the soft clouds. Canoes glide silently beneath you, the paddles dipping into the water with gentle, rhythmic motions, so soft that they barely disturb the smooth surface. The world is slow, warm, and peaceful. Yet beneath this calm, the political landscape of the valley is shifting. For years, the Mexica have lived as subjects of Azcapotzalco, the powerful Tepanec kingdom. They fought in its armies. They paid tribute. They learned diplomacy and strategy by observing the very empire that held them under its authority. But even the strongest kingdoms can fracture, and even the most imposing rulers can fail to see the subtle movements of history forming quietly around them. As night deepens, imagine the Mexica Council gathering in a dimly lit room made of stone and wood. Torches flicker softly. Shadows dance along the walls. The air is thick with incense. Advisors speak in lowered voices. Priests stand silent, observing the patterns of the flames. Word has spread that the ruler of Azcapotzalco is growing old, and his son, ambitious, unpredictable, is preparing to take control. Other city-states feel uneasy. The valley is tense but silent, like the air before a storm. Drift deeper into this moment. Feel the quiet intensity. Feel the weight of decisions that will shape centuries. The Mexica know they have reached a turning point. They can either submit forever, remaining in the shadow of Tepenac rule, or they can choose something far more dangerous, but far more liberating. But they cannot rise alone. Power in the valley requires alliances, and the Mexica know exactly where to look. To the east lies Texcoco, the city of poets, astronomers, philosophers, and scholars. Its young heir, Nezahualcóyotl, has been forced into exile after conflict with Azcapotzalco. He is brilliant, wise beyond his years, and deeply respected, but he needs allies to reclaim his throne. To the north lies Tlacopan, a less dominant but strategically important city, also uneasy under Tepenac pressure. The Mexica are in a unique position. They have the military discipline. Texcoco has the political legitimacy. Tlacopan has the regional balance. Together, something entirely new could emerge. Breathe softly, and imagine the night when quiet messengers drift across the lake in canoes, paddling beneath the cover of darkness. The water is still, reflecting the stars like scattered jewels. These messengers carry whispered proposals, cautious promises, and the possibility of a future built on shared strength. In hidden rooms lit only by oil lamps, representatives from the three cities meet. Their voices are low, their faces calm but determined. They speak of balance, cooperation, and survival. They speak of a world where the Tepenac shadow no longer hangs over the valley. And slowly, quietly, they form an agreement. An alliance. Not just any alliance, but one built on three pillars, three partners, three powers that will share in future victories. Tenochtitlan, Texcoco, Tlacopan. Let your breath fall into a calm rhythm as the significance of this moment settles in. The Triple Alliance is born, and with it, the foundations of what the world will one day call the Aztec Empire. Picture the lake at dawn the morning after the alliance is sealed. The sky turning soft pink, mist lingering over the water, canoes beginning to move, vendors preparing for the market, children laughing near the canals. Life continuing as usual, unaware that a massive shift has taken place in the quiet hours of the night. Across the water, the Tepenac capital is unaware of the storm forming against it. The Mexica, now bound to their new allies, prepare carefully. They do not rush. They do not act recklessly. They wait for the right moment. Their warriors train at sunrise, moving in silence. Their priests study omens in the movement of birds and the shimmer of flames. Their leaders gather under the moon with calm expressions, planning each step. When the conflict finally begins, it is swift. The Triple Alliance strikes like a rising tide. The Tepenac power, so seemingly unshakable for decades, is overwhelmed by the combined force, strategy, and unity of the three allied cities. Azcapotzalco falls, and, with its collapse, the political map of the valley is rewritten entirely. But listen closely. In this sleep story, nothing is chaotic. Everything is softened, distant, as though wrapped in cotton. There is no noise, no violence, only the quiet understanding that a transition of power has occurred as the dust settles. The lake valley enters a new era. Nezahualcóyotl is restored to his rightful place in Texcoco. Tlacopan strengthens its position. And the Mexica, once wanderers, once viewed as lesser, suddenly emerge as one of the most influential forces in the entire region. Breathe deeply, slowly, as we drift over this moment of transformation. With their new position, the Mexica begins shaping Tenochtitlan into a city of unprecedented ambition. Stone temples grow larger, causeways are widened, Aqueducts are built to bring fresh water across the lake. Markets expand until thousands of people gather daily to trade goods from across Mesoamerica. Imagine the marketplace now, fuller than ever, bright. Piles of cacao beans, shimmering green quetzal feathers, obsidian blades sharp as glass, painted ceramics, carved masks, woven baskets, embroidered cloths, copper bells ringing softly as people walk. The air is filled with voices, not loud or overwhelming, but a gentle, constant murmur like the sound of a distant river. You walk through this imagined market with a calm mind, observing the colors, the textures, the slow pulse of the city. With the fall of the Tepanecs, the Mexica no longer live in the shadows. They begin receiving tribute instead of paying it. Resources flow toward Tenochtitlan, not away from it. The city grows richer, stronger, more vibrant, and year by year, stone by stone, it becomes one of the greatest urban centers of the ancient world at a tea night. The city shines with torchlight. Reflections dance across the water. Priests climb stone steps to perform quiet rituals beneath the stars. Families gather around small fires, sharing food and stories. The lake carries the hum of life into the darkness like a soft, melodic vibration. Feel the calm of this world settling over you. The rise of the Mexica is not sudden at it is steady, gradual, intentional, like a plant pushing upward through soil, reaching toward the sun with patience and certainty. Their culture also blossoms alongside their political power. Poetry flourishes, art deepens, mythology is recorded with new complexity. Calendars are refined with astronomical precision. Time itself becomes sacred. Drift deeper into your breath as we move gently through the next decades of growth. The city develops districts dedicated to trade, religion, learning, and craft. Chinampas expand into vast green networks. Canals become highways of life, connecting neighborhoods like blue threads woven through a tapestry. The great temple rises layer upon layer, each renovation larger and more impressive than the last. Tenochtitlan is no longer a city simply surviving. It is a city thriving. The valley around it takes notice. Some admire, some fear, some resist. But the Mexica are no longer the people they once were. They have positioned themselves at the center of a system of alliances, politics, trade, and culture. Their destiny is no longer uncertain that it is unfolding, slowly, peacefully, inevitably. And as you continue to rest, drifting deeper into calm, the story of the Aztecs begins to shift into the next stage. The formation of an empire with systems of tribute, diplomacy, and influence that will shape Mesoamerica for generations. But that deeper expansion, that next powerful chapter, awaits us in the next part of this serene journey. For now, breathe gently, feel the weight leave your body, and let the calm waters of Lake Texcoco cradle your imagination as you rest. Take a slow breath, let it fill your chest gently, and then allow it to flow out like a warm breeze drifting across the surface of a lake. Tonight, we drift into the next phase of the Aztec story, a time when Tenochtitlan, no longer a humble island village, begins shaping itself into the organized, intricate heart of a growing empire. The world around you grows quieter as we travel back into the valley. Soft twilight settles over the water. The lake glows with reflections of torches and early starlight. Mountains stand in silence, their outlines barely visible beneath the deepening sky. And at the center of this calm bowl of water sits Tenochtitlan. Larger now, fuller, humming like a living organism at rest. The rise of the Triple Alliance has opened the gates to expansion. But expansion for the Mexica is not a chaotic rush outward that it is thoughtful, measured, organized like the steady growth of a tree that spreads its roots before it spreads its branches. Drift lower, closer to the city, feel the soft sounds of life. The paddle strokes of canoes, the faint rhythm of drums in the distance, the murmur of families preparing evening meals, the soft crackle of torches set along the causeways. The city has changed, streets are more defined. Stone replaces mud in many buildings. Causeways stretch across the lake like long, solid arms connecting Tenochtitlan to the mainland. New temples rise beside older ones, decorated with murals and carvings that glow in the torchlight. Let your breath fall into the quiet rhythm of this ancient capital. As the city grows, so does its administration. The Mexica leaders, the Tlatoc or rulers, develop systems to manage tribute, trade, justice, and community organization. Each district of Tenochtitlan becomes a micro-world with its own schools, markets, temples, and leaders. The city is divided not chaotically, but carefully, almost like the layout of a vast garden, each section nourishing the whole. Imagine walking slowly through one of these districts at dawn. The air is cool. Mist rises gently from the canals. Women grind maize on stone metates, the rhythmic sound blending with distant birdsong. Children carry jugs to fill with water. Artisans step into workshops, ready to carve stone, weave cotton, or craft obsidian blades sharp enough to glimmer like stars. This early morning world is peaceful, full of life but never rushed. Education becomes a cornerstone of the growing empire in Tenochtitlan. Two major types of schools shape the future generations: the Kalmakak, where sons of nobles learn leadership, astronomy, ritual, and law, and the Telpakali, where commoners learn discipline, crafts, warfare, and communal responsibility. Picture a Kalmakak courtyard at sunrise. Young students sit cross-legged in a circle, listening to a priest-teacher speak softly about the cycles of time or the story of the gods. Nearby, a scribe traces symbols in delicate lines on folded manuscript sheets made of bark paper. Everything moves with a slow, thoughtful pace. No rush, no tension, only deep concentration. These teachings form the backbone of Aztec identity. Their worldview is deeply spiritual. They see the universe as a delicate balance of forces: sun, moon, rain, wind, life, death, creation, destruction, all kept in harmony by both gods and humans. Every ritual, every festival, every offering is part of maintaining that balance. As we drift through the city, follow the soft scent of burning copal incense. It curls upward from temple courtyards, rising into the dusk sky like thin threads of silver smoke. Priests in long, flowing garments walk silently across stone platforms, their movements slow and ceremonial. The great temple, the Templo Mayor, grows larger with every generation. Layer upon layer is added, each expansion honoring the gods anew. The steps rise steep and high, but tonight, in this calming retelling, they feel like quiet terraces floating into the night sky. Even with expansion, Tenochtitlan never loses its connection to the water. Canoes remain the city's lifeblood, carrying people, goods, and stories between districts. The sound of paddles creates a soothing rhythm, like a heartbeat echoing across the canals. Let that rhythm settle inside your chest, slow, steady, comforting. Beyond the city, the Triple Alliance begins to shape a broader tribute system. Communities across the valley and beyond contribute goods that sustain the empire. Imagine the calm flow of tribute entering Tenochtitlan. Brightly painted pottery, woven cotton cloaks, feathers shimmering in blues and greens, cacao beans used as currency, copper bells, obsidian tools, bundles of fresh maize and beans, exotic birds, panels of fine cloth, and even crafted jewelry that glints softly in the morning sun. Tribute does not arrive with noise or chaos, not in our peaceful story. It arrives quietly, steadily, like a slow river bringing nourishment to a fertile plain. The Mexica record. Everything scribes paint tribute lists on long codices, symbols arranged in careful patterns. These books are not just records. They are art, delicate and beautiful. Each mark is made with calm intention. The markets grow even larger in the central market of Tlatelolco, neighboring Tenochtitlan. Tens of thousands gather in harmony. Vendors call softly to passing buyers. Musicians play simple tunes on flutes. Merchants from distant lands share stories of their journeys. Everything feels alive, yet soothingly balanced. Take a moment to imagine walking through Tlatelolco at midday, warm sunlight above, cool shade below the thatched awnings, colors everywhere, textures rich and soft to the eyes. Not overwhelming, just gently stimulating, like a memory wrapped in calmness. Beyond trade, religion continues to shape daily life. Festivals fill the year with music, dance, flowers, processions, and rituals honoring different gods at different times. These festivals bring community together, reminding them of the cycles of life and the turning of seasons. Imagine a festival morning. Streets decorated with marigold petals, musicians warming their instruments, dancers preparing costumes dyed in reds, whites, blues, priests arranging offerings of flowers, cacao, and incense, children laughing as they chase each other around courtyards. Everything is gentle, rhythmic, and warm, like a soft lullaby woven into daily life as the sun sets over Tenochtitlan. Torches flicker to life along the causeways, reflections dance across the lake, families gather for evening meals. Maize tortillas, beans, squash, perhaps a cup of warm chocolate. Stories are shared, elders speak of old journeys, parents soothe their children with quiet words. Night wraps slowly around the valley, the stars shimmering above like polished obsidian scattered across the sky. The moon hangs low over the water, casting a silver ribbon of light across the canals. Let your mind drift on that ribbon of light. Let your breath soften. Let all tension melt into the calm surface of the lake. The early stages of the empire are built on cooperation. Between city-states, between families, between generations, between humans and gods. Nothing feels rushed or chaotic. Everything unfolds like a slow, unfolding flower, and as you drift deeper into the softness of the night, you can sense what is coming. The expansion that will push the Mexica far beyond the lake. The campaigns that will shape the borders of their empire. The golden age of Tenochtitlan rising from the water like a shimmering dream. But that story is for the next part. For now, remain in this warm, peaceful world. A world of canoes, temples, markets, flowers, and soft twilight skies. Breathe softly, rest deeply. Let the calm of ancient Tenochtitlan hold you gently until you're ready to continue. Take a deep, slow breath, hold it for a brief, peaceful moment, and let it leave your body like a warm breeze drifting across still water. Tonight, we continue floating gently above Tenochtitlan as it transforms from a rising city into a radiant capital. A place where architecture, culture, spirituality, and daily life all unfold in harmony, like petals of a great flower opening beneath the sun. The valley is calm as we return. The mountains form soft silhouettes under a pale blue dawn. Mist drifts over the lake, thin and weightless, like silk hovering above the water. The first birds begin to call softly from the marshes, their voices blending into a delicate chorus that greets the rising light. Below you, Tenochtitlan glimmers. It is larger than ever. A network of stone causeways, canals, gardens, markets, and neighborhoods woven together like an intricate tapestry. What was once a humble island has blossomed into an extraordinary city that seems to float between the sky and the earth. Let yourself drift slowly into this morning, as if your mind is gliding along the surface of the water in a gentle canoe. The Mexica people begin their day with calm routine. Women kneel over stone metates, grinding maize, the rhythmic sound blending with the soft hush of the water. Children laugh quietly as they help carry baskets or fetch water. Elders sit together, telling gentle stories of ancestors, gods, and the early days of the city. Farmers set out to tend the chinampas, rowing slowly through the canals where lily pads drift lazily. Everything feels slow, steady, grounded. Life in Tenochtitlan follows natural rhythms. Sunrise, sunset, planting, harvesting, seasons, ceremonies. Each cycle woven gently into the next. And in this period, the city enters what many consider its golden age. Under the guidance of wise rulers, Tenochtitlan expands with careful precision. New temples rise, decorated with painted murals and carved stone. Markets grow and fill with vibrant goods. Canals become busier and more organized, like peaceful, winding streets of water. Chinampas bloom in every shade of green and gold. Imagine drifting over these floating gardens in the early sun. Dew collects on leaves like tiny pearls. Farmers move quietly through rows of beans, maize, squash, and herbs. White herons glide gently across the water. The air smells fresh, a mix of wet soil, lake reeds, and the distant aroma of cooking maize. Let that calm sink into your breath as the empire grows. Tribute from distant lands finds its way into the city. Bundles of cacao beans, exotic bird feathers shimmering in green and turquoise, fine cotton garments, vases painted with intricate patterns, obsidian blades carved to a glass-like finish, rubber balls used in ceremonial games, and baskets of spices, fruits, and medicinal herbs. The Mexica record these tributes with care. Scribes paint long codices using natural pigments. Symbols flow across the pages in beautiful patterns. Not words as we know them, but images, and glyphs full of meaning. Imagine a scribe sitting in a shaded room, his hands steady, dipping a brush into ink made of charcoal and plant resin. He paints with slow, deliberate strokes. The soft scratch of the brush blends with the distant sound of water lapping against the canal walls. The empire's administration becomes refined. Rulers meet in council chambers built of stone and decorated with painted murals. Advisors speak in calm, measured tones. Priests observe the stars from temple rooftops, refining calendars that help guide everything from agriculture to festivals. Their famous calendar systems, the Zayapawali, the solar calendar, and the Tanalpwali, the sacred calendar, become deeply embedded in the city's rhythm. Every day has meaning. Every cycle has purpose. Every festival holds spiritual significance. Feel your mind fall into that sense of order. A universe where time is not rushed, but balanced, meaningful, cyclical. Point. One of the most remarkable features of this golden age is the expansion of the Great Temple. The Templo Mayor grows grander, rising high above the city. Its twin staircases reach toward the sky, dedicated to the dual forces of life, Huitzilopochtli and Tlaloc. From its summit, the entire valley can be seen. The lakes, the cities, the mountains encircling the basin like guardians. Picture standing atop this temple in your imagination, not with noise or bustle, but with serene silence. A soft wind brushes against your face. The lake glistens like polished silver. The city stretches in every direction, alive yet peaceful, like a giant organism breathing slowly beneath the rising sun. Below, ceremonial plazas fill with gentle rituals, incense carried in, clay vessels, flowers arranged in woven mats, offerings placed with reverence. The smell of copal drifts upward, sweet and calming as we drift downward into the heart of the city. We enter the market of Tlatelolco, one of the largest in all the Americas. But in our story, it is not chaotic or loud. It is soft, organized, full of calm activity. Imagine this scene: vendors arranging fruits in neat circles, artisans laying out hand-carved wooden toys, merchants displaying bright feathers that shimmer. Under the soft light, women selling steaming tamales wrapped in fresh leaves, fishermen offering baskets of small lake fish gardeners showing fresh flowers, marigolds, lilies, orchids. The market is alive, but it breathes like a living, gentle heartbeat. You wander through the rows slowly, the textures, colors, and scents blending into a warm sensory blanket. As the empire expands outward, ambassadors travel to distant regions carrying messages of tribute, cooperation, and trade. Messengers move swiftly along road networks, stopping at rest stations where food and water await. Their movements are smooth, efficient, a testament to an organized and interconnected world. Education continues to shape society. In the Kalmakak, students study astronomy, mathematics, law, ritual, and philosophy. Teachers speak softly, guiding them through concepts about duality, cosmic order, and the responsibilities of leadership. In the Telpakali, young men train in discipline, ethics, and community work, learning the values that bind society together. The sound of lessons floats softly across courtyards, measured, soothing, precise. At sunset, the city transforms, torches flicker along causeways. The mountains glow orange for a brief, magical moment. Canoes drift through the canals like silhouettes sketched across glass. Families gather around small fires, sharing warm meals and gentle conversations. Children fall asleep to stories about gods, heroes, and ancient journeys. Night deepens over the valley. Stars emerge one by one, scattered across the sky like sparks of polished obsidian. The moon casts a silver path across the lake. Water laps quietly against stone foundations. Tenochtitlan sleeps, but not in silence. The soft hum of night insects, the faint echo of distant drums, the whisper of wind through reed roofs. These create a calming lullaby that wraps the city in peace. Let that lullaby drift into your breathing, slow, steady, comforting. During this golden age, the Mexica do not yet foresee the future challenges. They live in a world defined by balance, ritual, and harmony. Their empire is still growing naturally, gracefully, like the petals of a flower opening toward the sun. And as you rest in this moment, drifting gently above the quiet city, you can feel that peaceful expansion. A civilization rising with confidence but without haste, guided by tradition, wisdom, and a deep connection to their land and gods. The next part of our journey will explore the outward expansion of the empire, campaigns, diplomacy, trade, and the weaving of distant regions into the Aztec world. But for now, stay in this softness. Stay in the warmth of the torches reflected in the water. Stay in the calm of a city that breathes beneath the moon. Rest deeply, breathe gently. Let Tenochtitlan cradle your imagination as night folds quietly around it. Take a slow breath in and let it fall out in one soft stream, like a quiet wave settling onto the shore of a still lake. Tonight, we drift gently into a new chapter of the Aztec world, a time when Tenochtitlan begins to stretch its influence far beyond the waters of Lake Texcoco, reaching distant valleys, forests, and coastlines with a mixture of diplomacy, trade, and careful expansion. The sky is dim as we begin, touched by the softest glow of dawn. The lake lies flat and smooth, reflecting the early light as though the heavens and the water are a single, continuous surface. Mountains surrounding the valley stand in peaceful silhouettes, their edges softened by morning mist. A cool breeze moves through the reeds, making them sway with gentle whispers. Below, Tenochtitlan wakes, but this waking is different from earlier times. There is more movement, more purpose. The city, now vibrant and confident, hums with the energy of a place ready to step onto a larger stage. Let your heartbeat slow to match the rhythm of this gentle dawn. The expansion of the Triple Alliance has created stability in the valley. Texcoco provides wisdom and laws. Tlacopan adds balance and support, and Tenochtitlan, with its rising power and unique determination, begins to guide the future path of the alliance. Yet in this calm retelling, nothing is hurried. The empire's outward reach unfolds slowly, like a flower blooming petal by petal. Imagine floating above a council chamber at sunrise. Rulers sit in a circle, speaking softly. Their voices are calm, steady. They discuss trade, diplomacy, and tribute, not with urgency, but with quiet clarity. The air smells of burning copal and fresh morning air drifting through stone corridors. I end these meetings. Decisions are not forced. They flow naturally, shaped by observation, experience, and patience. The Mexica understand that influence requires more than strength. It requires knowledge of people, landscapes, languages, resources. So envoys travel outward, not as conquerors, but as observers. They journey through valleys where fields of maize stretch beneath the sun. They cross highlands where cold winds brush against their cloaks. They visit coastal towns where the scent of saltwater drifts through markets filled with seashells, fish, and tropical fruits. Everywhere they go, they listen, they learn, they build relationships. Picture a quiet Aztec envoy arriving at a distant village. Children watch curiously. Elders greet the visitors with calm hospitality. Gifts are exchanged: cotton cloth from Tenochtitlan, cacao from the south, obsidian tools from the valley. These gestures create trust. Trust creates partnerships, and partnerships form the foundation of a wider world gently woven into the growing empire. Let your breath relax into that gentle, diplomatic rhythm. As influence spreads, so does trade. The empire's merchants, the Paktika, become essential figures in this expansion. But in our quiet story, imagine them not as hurried travelers, but as calm, experienced guides moving gracefully along ancient trade routes. Picture a group of merchants at dawn, preparing to travel. Their cloaks wrapped carefully, their goods packed in woven baskets, their footsteps soft against the earth. They walk in silence, knowing that each journey connects distant lands to the heart of the empire. Their routes stretch far, north toward arid plains, south toward tropical forests, east to the warm Gulf Coast, west to regions filled with mountains and fertile valleys. Wherever they go, they bring not only goods, cacao, cotton, feathers, obsidian, but stories, ideas, and knowledge. They become quiet carriers of connection. As the empire expands outward, tribute systems become more organized. But in this peaceful retelling, imagine tribute not as a burden, but as a slow, steady flow of cultural exchange, shipments of pottery, textiles, food, ornaments, arriving gently into a city that grows more colorful with each passing season. The tribute lists painted in codices become more elaborate. Scribes work in shaded rooms, their hands steady, their minds focused. Each symbol represents a region, a people, a landscape, a unique culture now woven into the broader tapestry of the empire. You can almost hear the soft scraping of their brushes on bark paper pages, measured, hypnotic, like a quiet breath repeated over and over. Tenochtitlan responds to this expansion with architectural ambition. Temples grow taller, causeways extend. Further, new neighborhoods emerge, each with their own schools, markets, and shrines. Stoneworkers carve intricate patterns into walls. Painters decorate buildings with scenes of gods, animals, plants, and mythic symbols. Imagine artisans working in the warm glow of afternoon light. One gently taps a stone chisel. Another mixes pigment in a ceramic bowl, and a third weaves bright red thread through cotton cloth. Their movements are slow, deliberate, almost meditative. Everything in this world feels like part of a larger rhythm, steady, balanced, harmonious. Even as the empire extends its influence, Tenochtitlan maintains its connection to water. Canals remain serene pathways through the city. farmers continue tending chinampas with peaceful dedication. Fishermen cast nets into the lake with graceful arcs of motion, their silhouettes reflecting in the shimmering water. Take a moment to imagine floating along a canal at dusk. Canoes drift past with lanterns glowing softly. The air smells of warm maize and burning incense. The sky shifts from gold to deep blue. Water laps gently against the canoe's wooden frame. This scene is not only calming, it is a reminder of how deeply the Mexica are connected to their land and environment as decades pass. The empire becomes one of the strongest in Mesoamerica. Neighboring regions acknowledge the Triple Alliance with respect. Distant lands send ambassadors bearing gifts. Poets write verses celebrating the harmony between gods and humans. Astronomers record celestial events with quiet fascination. Musicians play soft melodies on flutes that echo through evening air. This golden age is not a loudy or it is serene, structured, beautiful in its calm order, and yet, in the heart of this peaceful prosperity, the Mexica remain mindful of balance. They believe the universe exists in a delicate harmony, a harmony humans must help preserve through ritual, tradition, and respect for the sacred forces that guide existence. Priests observe the stars from temple rooftops, their robes flowing gently in the night breeze. Torches flicker. The moon casts silver light across stone courtyards. Prayers drift upward like soft whispers carried by the wind. Let the imagery wrap around you like a warm blanket. You are drifting through this ancient world, carried along by its rhythm. There is no tension and no urgency. Only the steady expansion of a civilization guided by tradition, cooperation, and an understanding of its place in the cosmos. As night fully settles over the valley, Tenochtitlan glows, hundreds of small fires reflected in the water, turning the lake into a constellation of orange stars. Families sit together sharing quiet conversations. Children fall asleep. Elders tell stories that blend myth, history, and wisdom. You drift higher, floating above the city's glowing heart, feeling only peace. The empire continues to expand, gently weaving more and more regions into its orbit. But the next part of our journey will begin exploring how distant lands, unique cultures, and new territories gradually become part of the Aztec realm, and how the empire's reach shapes not only geography, but belief, identity, and destiny. Tonight, rest in this calm, golden era, breathe deeply. Let the lake's reflections soothe your mind. Let history hold you gently, like water supporting a drifting canoe. Take a slow, deep breath, and let it drift outward in a long, gentle exhale as your body settles. Imagine yourself rising once again above the calm waters of Lake Texcoco. The sky is washed with soft morning light, pale gold blending into cool blue. A thin veil of mist hangs over the lake, making the world look like a dream suspended between water and air. Below, Tenochtitlan is quieter than usual, the kind of quiet that holds both peace and anticipation. The city is ready for something new, something beyond its waters, something expansive but unhurried. The Mexica have matured into a powerful people. Their city breathes with confidence, their markets hum with abundance, and their temples rise in layered grandeur. But a true empire must extend beyond its home, and for the Mexica, this expansion happens in waves, rhythmic, soft, almost like the breathing of the lake itself. Let your breath mirror that rhythm. In, slow and spacious; out, warm and relaxed. The journey outward begins with observation. The Mexica send envoys across valleys, forests, mountains, and coastlines, not as conquerors rushing toward conflict, but as steady observers seeking understanding. They travel lightly, carrying small bundles of gifts. Woven cloth, decorated. Gourds, obsidian knives polished to a dark, glassy shine. Picture one of these groups of envoys moving quietly along a forest path. Their steps are soft on the earth, Sunlight filters through leaves above them, forming shifting patterns of gold and green. Birdsong echoes in the distance. Their minds are clear, focused, patient. They arrive at a distant village where people gather to greet them. The air smells of cooked maize and fresh herbs. Children peek out from behind adults, curious but unafraid. Conversations unfold slowly, gently. Stories are exchanged. Customs are shared. Understanding grows like roots intertwining beneath the soil. These early encounters are the seeds of expansion. The Mexica learn the needs and strengths of each region. Some places produce salt, others cotton, others cacao, others obsidian or precious feathers, and others provide food from fertile valleys where fruit trees bend under their weight. Each new place has its own rhythm, its own spirit, its own contribution to the tapestry of lands being quietly woven into the Aztec sphere. Let this slow weaving settle into your mind. Effortless, natural, calm as relationships deepen, trade networks expand, merchants, the Paktika, move farther than ever before. Imagine them traveling along a coastal road at dawn, sand soft under their sandals, waves rolling gently against the shoreline, the scent of salt water drifting through the air. They carry shells, tropical bird feathers, dried fish, rare fruits, and stories of lands where the sun feels warmer on the skin. Far to the south, they visit regions where cacao trees grow in lush forests. The air is warm, thick with humidity, filled with the scent of earth and fruit. Farmers gather cacao pods with calm precision, slicing them open to reveal glossy seeds that will one day become chocolate. A luxury cherished throughout the empire. To the west, merchants climb rugged mountain paths. Winds sweep through pine forests, carrying cool air across their faces. Villagers welcome them with pottery painted in swirling designs and stones carved with symbols of ancient lineage. To the north, wide plains stretch beneath a vast, open sky. Here, communities offer salt, skins, and hardy crops grown in dry, sunlit fields. The earth feels older, quieter, but deeply rooted in tradition. Each journey is long, but in this retelling, it is peaceful, a slow, harmonious movement of people and ideas. Let your breath soften as you drift deeper into this world that is. Tribute networks form, they do not come from force alone. Many communities join willingly, recognizing the stability, protection, and trade advantages the Triple Alliance provides. Others negotiate terms with calm diplomacy. Only a few resist, and even those moments are distant, softened, muted in our gentle story. The Mexica leaders record every tribute and agreement with careful symbolism. Scribes sit beneath shaded porticos, painting codices with brushes made from animal hair and pigments created from crushed minerals and plants. Their work is patient, deliberate. The brush touches the page with quiet precision, a soft scratch, a slow movement, a moment of deep focus repeated again and again until an entire region's history is carefully documented. Imagine sitting beside one of these scribes. The room is cool. Light enters through a small window, illuminating the page. You hear only the gentle scrape of the brush and the occasional rustle of a turning sheet. The stillness is soothing, grounding, timeless. Diplomacy continues in ceremonial gatherings. Envoys from distant lands enter Tenochtitlan in canoes decorated with flowers and bright feathers. Musicians play soft flutes as they arrive. Rulers greet one another with calm respect. Gifts are placed on woven mats. Cacao, jade beads, cotton blankets, baskets of grains, intricately carved ornaments. Every gesture is symbolic, every movement deliberate, every word spoken in a tone that preserves harmony as the empire expands. Tenochtitlan transforms to reflect its growing importance. New causeways are built, stretching across the lake like long, sturdy bridges connecting the city to lands beyond. Even from above, these causeways look like arms extended, outward, embracing the surrounding world, linking everything back to the shimmering heart of the valley. The city's architecture becomes more refined. Stoneworkers carve sculptures of gods, animals, and mythic creatures. Painters decorate temple walls with scenes from creation stories. Builders construct multi-level homes for noble families, each room arranged around peaceful inner courtyards where flowers bloom and water trickles quietly from small fountains. Imagine walking through one of these courtyards at midday. Sunlight falls in warm squares across the stone floor. The sound of water echoes softly against the walls. Colorful birds rest on branches, their feathers bright yet gentle under the shade as a breeze moves through the open roof, carrying the scent of flowers and incense. Life feels balanced, ordered, serene. Children attend school, learning history, songs, rituals, mathematics, and the art of respectful behavior. Teachers guide them with calm voices, encouraging focus and discipline, but always within a gentle rhythm. Young men in the Telpakali practice coordinated movements, not in aggression, but with meditative intention, stepping, turning, raising shields, lowering them, each motion part of a dance of discipline. In the Kalmakak, future leaders study poetry, astronomy, philosophy, and the sacred calendar. They memorize verses that speak of life as a fleeting dream, precious and fragile. All these practices deepen the culture as the empire extends its reach. As tribute from new regions arrives, Tenochtitlan's central market becomes an enormous tapestry of scents, colors, textures, and quiet voices. Picture walking slowly through it. Heaps of avocados stacked like green pyramids, bright feathers shimmering in the sun, baskets of tomatoes and chilies, warm tamales steaming gently, clay pots lined in rows, woven blankets draped over wooden beams. Merchants speak softly, buyers examine goods with care. Children play near their mother's stalls. It is busy but calm, full but never overwhelming. A gentle hum, like a low, soothing melody. As the empire grows, so does its spiritual life. Festivals celebrate the cycles of time, the turning of seasons, and the renewal of life. Flowers carpet ceremonial plazas. Dancers move in graceful, slow rhythms that mirror the heartbeat of the earth. Musicians play flutes, drums, and rattles, the sounds drifting into the sky like offerings themselves. At night, priests stand atop temple structures, watching the movement of stars. They track the path of Venus, the rising of the Pleiades, the shifting constellations. The sky is a sacred mirror, one that reflects the order of the universe. Let your mind drift into that night sky. Millions of stars, cool air brushing against stone. The distant lights of the city glowing like fireflies. This is a civilization connected deeply to time, to land, to the cosmos, and to the wider world, now becoming part of its sphere. The Mexica understand that expansion cannot exist without harmony, and so they maintain constant communication with the regions under their influence. Tribute is adjusted based on seasons. Alliances are reaffirmed with peaceful gatherings. Distant rulers are invited to ceremonies in Tenochtitlan, where they witness the grandeur of the great temple and the elegance of imperial courts. And through this slow, deliberate expansion, the Aztec Empire becomes a vast network of relationships: economic, cultural, spiritual. Tonight, as you relax, let that interconnectedness wrap around you like a soft blanket. Imagine a web of glowing threads stretching out from Tenochtitlan, each thread linking to a distant region. A valley, a mountain town, a coastal village, each thread humming with quiet life. This expansion marks the dawn of the Mexica's peak, a time when their influence reaches farther than ever before, and their city shines brighter than any in Mesoamerica. But for now, just rest in this moment of calm growth. Feel the slow, steady pulse of an empire stretching outward like a great tree growing new branches. Feel the warmth of the sun on the chinampas. Feel the cool of evening settling over the canals. Feel the peace of a world expanding not through noise, but through rhythm, connection, and harmony. Taka a slow breath in and release it gently, letting your whole body settle into comfort. Tonight, you drift even deeper into the world of the Mexica. Not the world of battles or conquests, but the world of creativity, spirit, art, and ideas. A world where every moment is filled with intention, and every detail is shaped by a deep understanding of balance. Imagine night falling softly over Tenochtitlan. The sky fades into deep blue as stars blink awake, one by one, like distant lanterns hanging in. An infinite ceiling, candles flicker in doorways, warm light spills across stone pathways. The lake reflects the glow of the city, turning Tenochtitlan into a shimmering island of gold floating in darkness. This is where we begin. In a quiet moment at the peak of Aztec civilization, in the calm courtyards of noble homes, artisans prepare their tools for the next day. A sculptor sharpens a piece of obsidian, inspecting it under torchlight. A painter mixes pigments made from crushed flowers, minerals, and insects, each color stored in small clay bowls. A featherworker sorts plumes of turquoise, red, yellow, and shimmering green, so bright they look like fragments of sunlight. Everything is careful. Everything is patient. Everything is slow. The Aztecs believed that art is not simply decoration. It is a reflection of cosmic harmony, the way of honoring the sacred order of the universe, a way of letting beauty ripple outward into everyday life. Imagine the painter preparing a smooth sheet of bark, paper. She dips her brush into a bowl of red pigment. The first stroke is deliberate, soft, almost meditative. The second stroke follows like breath after breath. Patterns emerge, spirals, glyphs, symbols telling stories of creation, migration, and divine presence. Next door, the featherworker arranges plumes into a mosaic. He moves slowly, placing each feather so little weight is felt, only the whisper of wind against his fingertips. The feathers catch the candlelight and shimmer softly, glowing, with natural brilliance. These works will become headdresses, shields, capes, garments worn in ceremonies that celebrate life and the turning of time. Let your breathing match this softness, steady, slow, peaceful. Across the city, drum makers stretch deerskin across hollowed wooden frames. The sound they test is deep and resonant, like the heartbeat of the earth. Flute makers carve reeds and test each note, airy, bright, floating through the night like a gentle breeze. The Aztec world is full of sound, but none of it is harsh. Everything blends. The drums, the flutes, the soft chiming of shell ankle bracelets worn by dancers. Together, they create a calm, rhythmic background for daily life. And at the center of all these arts is poetry. The Aztecs treasure words. They believe poetry is a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. Philosophers gather in quiet rooms lit by stone lanterns. They sit cross-legged on woven mats, speaking verses that explore truth, time, and existence. A poet recites softly, "We only borrow this earth. We only dream our lives. We leave only flowers and songs behind." These words drift into the night like feathers carried on wind. They are not mournful. They are peaceful, gentle reminders of the beauty and impermanence of life. In a Kalmakak school, students gather to recite poems as well. Their voices are soft, harmonized, ritualistic. Young minds absorb ideas that shape the heart of Aztec culture. Balance, respect, humility, discipline, gratitude. Imagine sitting among them, listening. The room smells of copal incense. A small candle flickers in the corner. Each student speaks slowly, clearly, like a drop of water falling into a quiet pond. Outside, in another part of the city, dancers practice under the moon. They move in slow, circular patterns, footsteps touching stone lightly, as if not to wake the earth. Their arms flow like water. Their bodies sway like candle flames. Every movement is meaningful. Every gesture is connected to the cycles of nature. Each dance honors rain, crops, time, ancestors, the sun, the moon. Let your breath fall into that rhythm, soft, circular, endless, as you drift deeper into this world. Imagine walking through a marketplace at dawn. Vendors are setting up stalls. The sky glows with pale morning colors. Fires crackle softly as women warm stones for tortillas. The scent of masa fills the air, warm, grainy, comforting that a basket maker arranges newly woven goods. The texture is smooth, the weave precise. Nearby, a potter places polished vessels on display, each with swirling designs inspired by wind, water, and mountains. Nothing is rushed, nothing is loud. The marketplace wakes slowly, just like you might. On a peaceful morning as the sun rises higher, priests begin their daily observances. They climb temple steps in quiet procession. Their cloaks flutter gently. They carry offerings of flowers, seeds, and incense. Gifts symbolizing life, growth, and renewal at the top. They face the four directions and spread scented smoke toward the sky. It curls upward in soft spirals, dissolving into the warm air. This smoke is believed to nourish the gods, forming a bridge between the earthly and celestial realms. In the calm silence of these ceremonies, the entire city feels connected. Every home, every market, every chinampa, every mountain, every breath of wind. Imagine yourself standing at the base of the temple, watching the sunlight illuminate its stone. The warmth touches your skin. The air feels pure and light that a deep stillness settles around you. This is the heart of Aztec spiritual harmony. Education, art, philosophy, and ritual flow together like rivers joining in a lake. The Mexica build a society where beauty is found not in wealth or luxury alone, but in discipline, meaning, and connection to the universe. In the evenings, families sit together in calm courtyards. A mother grinds maize on a stone metate, the rhythmic sound calming and steady. Children play quietly with carved toys shaped like animals and deities. A grandfather tells slow, soothing stories about the creation of the fifth sun, about heroes who transformed into constellations, and about mountains that were once giants, asleep beneath the earth. The sky above darkens, but the city continues to glow with lanterns placed along walkways and canal edges. Reflections shimmer on the water like tiny stars fallen from the sky. Let that image relax your entire body. The glow, the water, the stillness. The height of Aztec culture is not defined by power alone. It is defined by harmony. The balance between mind, body, spirit, and nature. A balance that flows through every artisan, every farmer, every dancer, every poet. It is a world where time is sacred, where creativity is a form of prayer, and where the smallest details, a painted glyph, a woven mat, a softly played flute, hold deep significance. And tonight, that significance wraps around you like a soft shawl. That it invites you to slow down, to breathe, to rest, to let go of everything except the gentle rhythm of this ancient world. Drift deeper into the calm of Tenochtitlan at its cultural peak. Drift deeper into the quiet beauty that defines it. Drift deeper into the warm night air filled with scent of flowers and burning incense. Soon, we will move into the next part, a deeper exploration of Aztec society, daily life, and the philosophy that shaped their worldview. But for now, stay in this softness, float in it, and let the calm spirit of this world guide you into deeper rest. Take a long, slow breath in and let it out gently, feeling your whole body soften as you transition into another deep chapter of the Aztec world. Tonight, you drift into a quieter, more intimate part of their civilization. Not the grand temples, not the ceremonies, but the everyday lives of the people who filled the streets, tended the fields, shaped the culture, and brought warmth to their vast, shimmering empire. Imagine dawn rising over Tenochtitlan. The sky glows gently, colors shifting from violet to pink, then to a soft golden hue that spreads slowly across the lake. The city wakes not with noise, but with gentle rhythms. The splash of paddles in the canals, the low crackling of morning fires, the rustling of reeds in the chinampas, that a sense of calm fills the air, as if the entire valley is stretching after a long sleep in a modest home. A family begins their morning in the warm glow of a small hearth. A woman kneels beside a stone metate, grinding maize into dough. The sound of grinding is hypnotic, steady, rhythmic, soothing. She shapes the dough into thin circles and lays them on a warm clay surface, where they puff gently, releasing a sweet, earthy smell. A man steps outside to check the chinampas, the floating gardens that make the valley so fertile. The air is cool, but the sun is rising, touching the water with bright streaks. He bends to inspect young maize shoots, runs his fingers along the soil, and listens to the calls of distant water birds. Children begin to stir. Some help carry baskets. Others chase each other in soft laughter. Even in their play, there is gentleness. Their games mimic the world around them. Animals, stars, gods, and seasons that as you breathe slowly, imagine walking through the neighborhood with them. The pathways are made of smooth, compacted earth. Homes are constructed from adobe and plastered with white lime, sometimes decorated with simple painted designs in every doorway. A small offering of flowers or kernels of maize sits, quietly, a gesture of gratitude to the spirits. Farther down the street, a market begins to awaken. The Aztec marketplace is one of the wonders of their world, an ocean of color, texture, and life. Vendors unfold bright woven cloths to display their goods. The air fills with the warm scent of cacao, roasted maize, and fresh herbs. Women arrange baskets of peppers, tomatoes, avocados, and squash. Herbalists organize their bundles of medicinal plants with names whispered like spells. Copal for cleansing, Yaloxochitl for heart comfort, Chicolote for calm dreams. A potter sets out freshly made vessels. Smooth, balanced, polished until they shined. A jeweler arranges necklaces made from jade, amber, obsidian, and small shells collected from distant coasts. Everything is arranged with care. Nothing is rushed as you walk. You feel the calm of this world settling deeper around you, wrapping you in its gentle order. Near the center of the market, barter and exchange begin. The Aztecs rarely trade with coins. Instead, they use cacao beans, cotton cloths, or practical goods. A few quiet words, a nod, an exchange of hands. Transactions here feel more like mutual assistance than competition. Further along, you find artisans sitting in the shade of woven reed roofs. A young man shapes obsidian into a blade, not a weapon, but a ceremonial tool used for ritual cutting of flowers or sacred plants. His hands move with precision, turning black stone into something that catches the morning sun with a bright, glossy shimmer. Next to him, a woman paints designs on pottery using natural pigments. Her brush strokes are soft, steady, curved like waves. She paints spirals, suns, flowers, and the graceful shapes of birds. Each symbol carries meaning. Cycles, rebirth, balance, movement. Your breath falls into rhythm with her strokes, slow, flowing, peaceful as the morning settles. The city becomes alive with activity. Fishermen cast nets across the lake. Boatmen ferry passengers between districts. Teachers lead groups of children through Kalmakak and Telpakali schools in the Kalmakak. Young students learn reading, writing, philosophy, ritual, and leadership. Their lessons include memorizing poetry, practicing spiritual discipline, and studying the movement of stars. They sit cross-legged, listening to elders recite stories of creation and destruction. Stories meant to shape character and strengthen the heart and the Telpakali. Students focus on physical training, discipline, community service, and cultural knowledge. They practice dances, learn agricultural skills, and study traditional crafts. They also listen to lessons about honor, humility, and balance. Even learning here feels gentle, steady, and full of purpose. Now picture the midday sun. Overhead, shadows grow shorter. The air warms. People seek shade, under rooftops, under trees, or beside canals where cool breezes drift over the water. Lunch is simple and nourishing. Tortillas, beans, squash, sometimes chili, sometimes a bit of fish or turkey. Meals are eaten together. There is laughter, conversation, moments of silence, moments of gratitude. The Aztecs believed that food connects people to the earth. Every meal is a reminder of the gifts of the world around them. After eating, traders continue their journey. Priests sweep temple steps, preparing spaces for afternoon rituals. Children play a game with rubber balls, bouncing them off stone walls with surprising skill. Women tend to household shrines, adding flowers or lighting a small bit of incense that sends sweet-smelling smoke into the AI or as you imagine this. Feel your body softening again. Let your shoulders drop. Let tension melt from your face, neck, arms, and hands. The city's pulse slows as the sun begins to drift. Downward.it is a time for reflection, a time for returning home, a time for reconnecting with quiet moments that nourish the spirit. Families gather in courtyards shaded by small trees. A grandmother tells stories. Tales of gods who walked the earth in ancient times. Tales of lightning serpents. Tales of mountains formed from sleeping giants. Her words are slow and melodic, rising and falling like waves on a calm lake. Nearby, a father carves a small wooden toy for his child. Perhaps a jaguar, perhaps a bird, perhaps a tiny figure of a warrior. He sands the edges with a smooth stone. Shaping it with patience, a mother braids her daughter's hair, weaving small pieces of ribbon into the long, dark strands. The daughter sits still, letting the braiding lull her into a soft, dreamy state. The sun continues descending, glowing orange and gold over the valley. Its reflection ripples across the lake, turning the water into a sheet of shimmering fire. The entire city pauses to absorb this beauty. The quiet wonder of day becoming night as dusk settles. Torches and lanterns are lit. Frogs begin singing. Birds quiet their calls. The air becomes cool and sweet. Dinner is served, warm atoll, fresh tamales, vegetables harvested from chinampas. Families eat together in the soft glow of lanterns. Then music begins, soft flutes, slow drums, gentle rattles made from shells. Neighbors gather for a small dance in the open plaza. Movements are slow, circular, peaceful. Children join, mimicking the adults. With small, joyful steps, you feel yourself drifting deeper, calmer, as if you, too, are moving with them in slow circles. The night deepens, stars come out one by one, covering the sky in shimmering patterns. The Milky Way stretches above like a river of light, reminding the Aztecs of ancestral pathways that in the quiet hours before sleep, people pray, meditate, or simply rest. The city grows still. Water laps softly at the edges of the canals. Wind moves through reeds with a faint whisper. This peaceful, nightly rhythm is the heartbeat of Aztec daily life. Calm, intentional, filled with meaning. You feel yourself becoming part of it, breathing with it, resting with it. Soon we continue into deeper parts of Aztec civilization, exploring more layers of their world. But for now, let yourself rest inside this gentle night. Take a deep breath in and let it go slowly, feeling your body sink deeper into rest as we drift into another long, soothing journey through the world of the Mexica. Tonight, we leave the streets and marketplaces behind and instead wander into the sacred landscapes that formed the heart of Aztec identity. Mountains, lakes, forests, caves, and skies infused with mystery, memory, and spiritual meaning. Imagine the Valley of Mexico before sunrise. The world is quiet, wrapped in a soft silver blue. Light, morning mist floats low across the fields and canals. In the distance, enormous volcanic mountains rise like sleeping giants. Iztaccíhuatl with her snow-covered silhouette resembling a resting woman, and Popocatépetl with thin trails of warm smoke drifting into the sky. The air is chilly but gentle. The lake is still. The horizon glows faintly, promising the slow arrival of dawn. This valley is not just a home, it is a sacred map. Every mountain, every hill, every spring, every patch of forest carries a name, a story, a memory of gods who stepped across the land long before humans existed. As you breathe slowly, imagine walking along the edge of the lake. Water laps softly at the shore. Reeds sway in the morning breeze. The reflections of mountains shimmer on the surface, fragmented gently by ripples that look like silver threads. To the Aztecs, lakes were mirrors of the heavens. What existed above had an echo below. The sky and the earth were partners, and water was the bridge. Between them, a fisherman paddles by in a small canoe. His movements are slow, practiced, fluid. He casts a woven net with a quiet swish and waits with patience. The sound of the water tapping against his canoe is rhythmic and soothing, blending perfectly with the gentle wind. Feel your body relax into that rhythm. Slow, calm, flowing. Now imagine moving inland, where forests begin to rise along the gentle slopes of the valley. The air grows cooler under the canopy. Branches form arches overhead, filtering sunlight into soft golden patches on the forest floor. The scent of earth, leaves, and distant flowers fills the air. For the Aztecs, forests were living temples. Each tree carried a spirit. Each grove had a guardian. Some trees were believed to be doorways to the underworld, not frightening ones, but pathways for ancestors to travel between worlds. The sound of birds rises gradually, warblers, hummingbirds, owls returning to roost after a night of silent hunting. Insects hum softly. A gentle breeze rustles leaves, creating a tender whisper that seems to speak directly to you. You continue walking, letting the forest guide you deeper into its calm embrace. Every step feels lighter, every breath slower. Ahead, a spring flows from a crack in the earth, clear and cool. The Aztecs believed springs were gifts from Tlaloc, the rain god, and that their waters carried life-giving energy. Priests visited these springs to collect water for rituals, approaching with quiet reverence, dipping clay vessels slowly to avoid disturbing the surface. Imagine kneeling beside the water, dipping your fingers into its coolness. The sensation is refreshing, grounding, peaceful. The water flows gently around the rocks, creating tiny musical notes that blend with the forest sounds. Nearby, a small shrine stands, simple, adorned with flowers and smooth stones. Offerings rest beside it. Cacao seeds, feathers, small carved figurines. These gifts are left by travelers seeking protection, safe passage, or blessings from the spirits residing in the land. You continue farther up a mountain path. The air thins slightly, but remains cool and comforting. Sense of pine and fresh earth surround you. Occasionally, you pass carved stones marking ancient paths used by pilgrims. As you ascend, the valley opens below you. A mosaic of shimmering water, chinampas, villages, and distant temples from above. Tenochtitlan looks almost unreal. An island city floating like a jewel on a mirror of light. Take another slow breath and feel the vastness beneath you. The stillness. The peace. To the Aztecs, mountains were the bodies of ancient gods. Some were protectors, Some were lovers. Some were warriors. Their peaks touched the sky, allowing communication with celestial realms. Popocatépetl was the smoking warrior. Iztaccíhuatl was the sleeping woman. Together, their story shaped the identity of the entire valley. Imagine the quiet of their slopes, the soft sound of wind brushing past volcanic rock, the lonely call of a distant bird, the sense of timeless presence. This land is alive in every direction. Now picture yourself entering a cave near the foothills. The entrance is cool, dark, inviting. Caves were sacred to the Aztecs. Portals to Mictlan, the underworld, and places where creation itself was believed to have begun. Inside, the air is still, slightly cool, and comforting. Drops of water fall from the ceiling with slow, steady rhythm, echoing through the chamber. Your footsteps are soft on the dirt floor. The light grows dimmer, but never frightening. It wraps around you like a cocoon. You pause to breathe, feeling the ancient silence settle around you. In Aztec tradition, caves are places of reflection, places where one seeks inner truth, where visions appear in dreams, and where ancestors whisper guidance. The walls are etched with faint symbols, spirals, animals, stars. You run your fingers along them, feeling the smoothness worn by generations. This space is untouched by chaos or noise. It is timeless. Let yourself rest here for a moment. Let the darkness hold you gently. Let the quiet deepen. When you step outside again, daylight feels softer, warmer, like a gentle embrace. Birds fly overhead, clouds drift lazily across the sky. The world feels familiar yet new, as if you were seeing it through the calm eyes of the people who once walked these paths every day. Now the scene shifts to the edges of the valley, where tall grasses wave in the breeze. Fields stretch wide, dotted with wildflowers in red, yellow, and violet. Farmers tend crops with tools made from wood and stone. Their movements are slow, skillful, harmonious with the land. Children help by carrying small bundles, laughing softly as they work. Elders sit beneath shaded trees, weaving baskets or telling stories that drift gently through the air like drifting clouds. These landscapes, mountains, lakes, forests, plains, shaped every aspect of Aztec life. They offered food, shelter, spiritual meaning, and cultural identity. Every corner of the valley held significance, connecting people to their ancestors, their gods, and the cycles of time. As the sun begins to set again, warm golden light spreads across the land. Mountains glow with orange and rose hues. The lake reflects the sky in soft, shimmering patterns. Birds return to their nests. Frogs begin their nightly songs. Wind carries the scent of earth and water across the valley. You stand at the edge of the lake again, watching the sky change from gold to pink to deep purple. Lanterns begin to glow across Tenochtitlan like scattered stars. Canoes slip across the surface, leaving trails of soft ripples behind. The valley grows quiet. The world becomes still. Night embraces everything with peace, and you, standing there in the calm heart of this ancient landscape, feel a soft connection to everything. Mountains, waters, forests, winds, stars. The same connection the Aztecs felt each day. You breathe in and out, slowly, gently, letting this sacred world wrap around you like a warm blanket. Take a deep breath in and let it drift outward slowly, letting your whole body loosen and melt deeper into comfort. Tonight, you continue your quiet journey through the heart of the Mexico world. But now, we step into something more intricate, more delicate, and more profound. Their understanding of time, science, mathematics, stars, and the cosmic balance that held their universe together. Imagine the night sky above the Valley of Mexico, endless, shimmering, alive. Stars scatter across the darkness like brilliant grains of maize spilled over a black obsidian table. The Milky Way stretches overhead like a faint, luminous river. Constellations known to the Aztecs glow softly. The fire serpent, the butterfly, the three stars of Orion's belt. It is under the sky that the Mexica shaped one of the most sophisticated systems of science and timekeeping in the ancient world. But instead of beginning with calendars or mathematics, let yourself slowly drift through the world as they experienced it. A world where time was not just measured. It was felt, breathed, honored. Picture a quiet courtyard at night that a priest astronomer sits cross-legged on a woven mat and a small flame burns beside him, flickering softly and casting warm amber light over his face. In front of him lies a codex. Bark paper folded like an accordion, painted with bright red, blue, yellow, and black glyphs. Beside it rests a bundle of obsidian shards used to mark positions on the ground. He lifts his eyes to the sky and begins to watch. The Aztecs observed the heavens not with telescopes, but with patience, deep patience, passed down over generations. Night after night, year after year, groups of astronomer priests watched the movements of planets, the rising of constellations, the phases of the moon, and the shifting position of the sun along the horizon. Imagine him noticing a single star shift slightly from where it had been the night before. To us, it's almost invisible. To him, it is a sign, piece of the cosmic rhythm, a message in slow motion. He traces its position on the ground with an obsidian shard. The mark glows faintly in the firelight. This is how calendars were born, not from quick observations, but from lifetimes of watching the sky with soft, deliberate attention. Let your breath match that slowness, gentle, steady, timeless. Now imagine drifting through the city at dawn. The sun rises between two volcanic peaks, just as it has for thousands of years. Its position is carefully noted by priests who stand on the upper platforms of temples, watching the exact moment light touches the horizon. To the Aztecs, sunrise was not a casual event. It was a renewal of cosmic order, a daily victory of light over darkness. And because of this belief, their study of the sun became precise, almost scientific. They tracked its movements along the horizon throughout the year, marking solstices, equinoxes, and seasonal transitions with stone pillars, temple alignments, and codices. Now, imagine entering a calm room inside the temple complex. The walls are painted with bright mural scenes. Gods walking across the sky, rivers of stars flowing from their hands, and circles representing the cycles of time. A group of students sits quietly as an elder speaks in a slow, melodic voice. He explains the Zayapawali, the solar calendar of 365 days. Its purpose: to track seasons, harvests, and rituals tied to agriculture. The elder traces a circle on a clay tablet, dividing it into 18 months of 20 days each, with 5 quiet days at the end, days of reflection, stillness, and purification. Then he moves to the Tanalpwali, the sacred calendar of 260 days. This calendar is not tied to seasons but to destiny, personality, and spiritual balance. It guides births, ceremonies, marriages, journeys, and important decisions. Each day has its own combination of number and symbol. Each combination carries meaning, energy, direction. Imagine him drawing small glyphs in the dust: a water droplet, a reed, a jaguar face, a flint knife, a house, a flower. To the Mexica, these were not abstract symbols. They were living forces, energies that shaped the world quietly and continuously. Your breathing softens as you picture these glyphs, simple yet ancient, full of significance. Now imagine how the two calendars interlocked like gears. Every 52 years, they completed a full cycle together, a moment so sacred that the entire empire paused to witness it. This was the new fire ceremony, the renewal of time. On that night, all fires were extinguished, and Entire world plunged into darkness. People waited in silence, hearts steady, breaths held if the gods still favored humanity. A new fire would be lit on a mountaintop, and flames would be carried across the land to reignite every hearth. Feel the weight of that stillness, the darkness, the silent hope, the deep breath held by millions, and then the relief, the first spark appearing on the horizon, signaling another 52 years of cosmic balance. The Aztecs believed time was alive, a cycle, a breath, heartbeat. Now imagine walking through a calm workshop where mathematicians work with dots and bars, simple symbols for numbers. They use them to calculate tribute, land size, crop yields, and temple designs. You watch a young apprentice arrange stones on the ground. 1 stone for 1, a bar for 5, a shell for 0. Their number system is elegant, visual, intuitive. They add, subtract, multiply by moving objects, a physical meditation of thought. Next to them, architects map out the angles of a temple platform. They measure the sun's shadow at noon. They use sight lines, water levels, and wooden instruments to keep structures perfectly aligned with the paths of sun and stars. You imagine them stepping back, looking at the half-built pyramid glowing in the daylight. Its symmetry is calming, a reminder that mathematics and spirituality were not separate, but united in harmony. Now imagine drifting deeper into a calm room where healers prepare remedies. Though not science in the modern sense, Aztec medicine was based on generations of careful observation. They knew which plants cured fevers, which healed wounds, which soothed the mind. A healer crushes a mixture of herbs in a stone mortar. Her movements are slow and circular. The scent of crushed leaves fills the room, cool, fresh, grounding nearby. A small fire warms clay pots of salve. Another healer arranges flowers, known for calming the heart and balancing the spirit. The Aztecs. The body was a microcosm of the universe. Healing meant restoring cosmic harmony inside oneself. Let that thought slow your breath. Let it ease the muscles of your neck. Let your shoulders fall. Outside, astronomers gather on a rooftop platform as twilight settles. They lift their eyes to Venus, one of the most important celestial bodies in their world. They track its movements carefully, noting its position just after sunset. Venus as evening star, Venus as morning star. Its cycles help determine rituals and predictions. Its brightness provides guidance. Its rising and setting connect the worlds of day and night. Imagine the silence of that rooftop, cold air brushing against your skin, the soft glow of the horizon, and the peaceful concentration of those who watch the sky. A gentle breeze moves across the lake. The waves shimmer faintly. The stars brighten slowly, one by one. The entire valley becomes a quiet observatory where every person, farmer, artisan, priest, plays a role in maintaining cosmic balance. Time here is not rushed. It moves like water. It repeats like breath. It guides life gently as the night deepens. Lanterns glow across the city. Their reflections float on the lake like strings of golden pearls. Distant flutes play slow melodies. Drums beat softly, almost like a heartbeat in the darkness. The city breathes. The people breathe. The calendar breathes. The cosmos breathes, and you breathe with them, slowly, deeply, peacefully, allowing your mind to drift into the calm unity of this ancient world. Take a long, slow breath in and release it softly, letting every part of you relax a little more. Tonight, we step deeper into the spiritual world of the Mexica. Not the dramatic imagery people tend to think of, but the quieter, gentler truths behind their beliefs, the rhythms of faith that shaped daily life, and the peaceful rituals meant to create harmony between humans and the universe. Imagine evening falling over Tenochtitlan. The sky glows like warm amber, slowly cooling into deep violet. The lake reflects every shade, turning the entire valley into a giant mirror of shifting colors as the sun disappears behind the mountains. The air grows cooler, calmer, as if the entire world exhales at once. The Aztecs believe this moment, the meeting of day and night, is sacred. It is a doorway between worlds, a quiet passage where the energies of sun and moon blend softly in courtyards across the city. People begin lighting small clay lamps, placing them around household shrines, decorated with flowers, feathers, and tiny carved figures. Children sit beside their parents, watching the warm glow fill the home, listening to gentle prayers spoken in melodic tones. You imagine sitting there, too, feeling the soft warmth of candlelight on your skin, hearing the quiet whisper of a prayer, sensing the calm intention behind every word. The Aztecs do not separate religion from daily life. Every moment is infused with meaning. Every gesture is part of a relationship with the world. Now, imagine walking deeper into the city as night settles fully, lanterns glow at the edges of canals. Canoes glide silently through the water, their reflections shimmering softly. Frogs and night birds sing in the reeds, creating a natural lullaby that blends with the distant rhythm of slow drums. You approach a calm plaza where a small group has gathered for a nightly offering. This is not a public spectacle. It is simple, peaceful, intimate. A bowl of copal resin is placed on a stone surface. A priest lights it, and fragrant smoke curls upward like a soft, spiraling ribbon. The smoke rises, then spreads gently in the air, carrying prayers toward the unseen realms. The smell is earthy, sweet, grounding. Breathe slowly, and let that scent exist in your imagination. Calming, purifying. People around you stand with hands folded, eyes soft, breathing slow. There is no urgency, no fear, no noise, just presence, just intention, just connection. Now imagine walking to the edge of the city where the great temple rises above everything, not intimidating now, but quiet under the moonlight. Its steps and platforms glow softly in the silver light, and a gentle breeze flows across its stones. A few priests sit in meditation at the base. They face the sky with calm expressions, focusing on the stars, listening to the silence of the night. Their robes move slightly with the wind. Their breathing is slow and deep, matching the rhythm of the world around them. You sit with them for a moment, feeling the cool stone beneath you, hearing the distant water, noticing the softness of the air on your face. Even the temple, a massive structure of stone, feels peaceful tonight, more like a mountain than a monument. The priests meditate not to summon gods, but to align themselves with the cosmic flow. The Aztecs. The universe is a living force, dynamic, cyclical, delicate. Staying in harmony with it brings clarity, balance, and calm. Let your breath fall into that harmony, gentle, slow, repeating like waves. Now imagine that a grandmother sits nearby with children gathered around her. Her voice is soft, steady, like a warm blanket wrapping around every listener. She tells them stories of creation, not in a harsh tone, but in a soothing one filled with wonder. She speaks of the worlds that came before, each one ending and beginning in cycles. She talks about gods who shaped mountains with their footsteps, gods who transformed into stars, gods who created humans from corn. Her storytelling is slow, rhythmic, comforting. Each sentence feels like it drifts through the air, floating gently before settling in the hearts of the children. Imagine listening to her voice, smooth, melodic, carrying ancient wisdom without heaviness. Then she tells a quiet truth. The purpose of life is to walk carefully, to create balance, to offer flowers, to speak poetry, to leave behind beauty. This belief permeates everything, even the simplest act. Sweeping a home, tending a field, lighting a lamp, is part of maintaining cosmic harmony. Now, picture a calm ritual bath at the edge of the lake. A small group of women gathers at dawn, stepping slowly into the cool water. They wash their arms, faces, and hair with fragrant herbs. Their movements are gentle, deliberate, them. Water is sacred at it cleans the body and the spirit, it refreshes intention. It prepares them for the day with a sense of purity and renewal. Imagine the feeling of cool water sliding across your skin, refreshing and calming. Imagine the faint scent of crushed mint and flowers drifting through the air. Nearby, a man kneels at a small shrine to honor a household deity. Perhaps Tlaloc of rain, or Chantico of fire, or Zacapili of beauty and art. He offers a few kernels of maize, a flower, a handful of scented leaves. He speaks slowly, thanking the gods for health, for family, for another sunrise. These offerings are not grand. They are simple gestures of gratitude. Let that simplicity relax you. Let the gentleness soften your thoughts. Let the calmness sink deeper into you. Now imagine visiting a healer's home. Bundles of dried herbs hang from the ceiling, clay bowls filled. With salves and paste sit neatly on wooden shelves. The air smells of sage, copal, and crushed leaves. A healer kneels beside a patient, placing a warm stone on their stomach. She speaks softly, explaining that illness is often an imbalance. Too much heat, too much cold, too much wind, too much dampness. Her touch is gentle, comforting. Her voice is reassuring. She uses plants to calm the body, massage to soothe tension, smoke to clear negative energy. Imagine her placing a hand lightly on your forehead, whispering a prayer for harmony. Her presence alone eases your breath. Outside, the sun climbs higher. Priests sweep temple grounds, not as servants, but as caretakers of sacred space. Their brooms, made of reeds, glide across stone surfaces, creating a soft brushing sound that blends with birdsong. Near the marketplace, someone sings quietly while grinding maize. The song is old, passed down through generations, a lullaby of gratitude for the earth. A man shaping obsidian tools hums along, his rhythm matching the gentle tapping of stone. A woman weaving a colorful cloth smiles as she listens, her fingers moving through bright threads with patient grace. All of these actions, sweeping, singing, weaving, are forms of devotion. Every gesture acknowledges the beauty of life. Every sound adds warmth to daily existence. As evening approaches, incense burns again. The scent travels through the air, light and sweet. Families gather for dinner. Tortillas, beans, squash, fresh greens from chinampas. Conversation is soft. Laughter rises gently. The glow of lanterns fills each home with warmth. After the meal, people sit together to reflect on the day. Some play music, slow flute melodies drifting through the night like soft wind. Others pray or meditate. Some simply sit in silence, letting the calm of the evening settle inside them. The stars appear once more. Venus shines brightly as the evening star. The moon casts silver light across the valley. Under the sky, the spiritual life of the Aztecs continues, quietly, peacefully, with deep respect for the rhythms of the earth. Feel your body soften into those rhythms. Feel your breath synchronize with theirs. Feel the peace of a world where every action is sacred, every moment connected, every breath meaningful. Take a slow breath in and let it out softly, letting any remaining tension melt from your shoulders, your arms, your face. Tonight, you drift deeper into the heart of Aztec society. Not the rulers, not the warriors, not the ceremonies, but the gentle, steady fabric of everyday community life. The soft bonds between families, neighbors, teachers, elders, artisans, and travelers. The human side of the empire, warm, interconnected, and deeply peaceful. Imagine the early morning quiet of a small Aztec neighborhood. The sky is pale blue, painted with the first hints of sunlight. Smoke rises gently from hearths as families begin their day. Dogs stretch beside warm stones. Children rub their eyes, still half asleep, wandering toward the comforting scent of fresh tortillas A mother kneels beside the hearth, turning dough into thin circles. The surface warms under her hands. She flips each tortilla with a soft motion, creating the steady, calming sound of food being made with love. The smell fills the home, warm, earthy, familiar, nearby. A father prepares tools for the day. He checks a stone blade for sharpness, runs his fingers along the smooth wooden handle of a hoe, and ties bundles of herbs at his waist. His movements are slow, intentional, unhurried. He pauses to sip warm atoll, letting its heat wake him gently. Children sit together eating their simple breakfast. They talk softly about their dreams, the lessons they will learn, the games they hope to play later. Their voices are quiet and musical, like the first bird song of the morning. Let your breath match their calmness, slow, steady, peaceful. In Aztec society, family is the foundation of everything. Homes are built around emotional warmth rather than wealth. Families teach children not just skills but values: patience, humility, discipline, gratitude, generosity. Imagine a grandmother brushing her granddaughter's hair. Her fingers move through long, dark strands slowly, gently, untangling knots with care. She ties the hair with woven ribbons, each color carrying symbolism. Red for life, yellow for energy, blue for clarity. The granddaughter sits still, feeling comforted, calm. The grandmother hums an old tune passed down for generations, a song that tells of stars guiding travelers and flowers guiding dreams. Now imagine stepping outside and walking through the neighborhood. The air is cool and smells faintly of earth and burning wood. Neighbors greet each other with quiet warmth. A woman sweeping her doorway pauses to share a smile. A craftsman carving a piece of wood nods softly. Children wave before running off to their lessons. In this society, community responsibility is a shared joy, not a burden. Each person contributes to the harmony of the whole. Farther down the path, elderly members of the community sit together on woven mats. They talk slowly, recalling memories of migrating ancestors, old stories of distant lands, and the lessons learned from years of working the land. Their voices are steady, calm, full of wisdom. An elder describes how fields once looked when he was a child, when the lake was higher, when certain birds were more common. The younger listeners nod respectfully. In Aztec culture, elders are living libraries, not to be ignored, but celebrated. Let that respect wash over you like a warm breeze. Feel the comfort of being in a society where every generation is valued. As the sun rises higher, marketplaces fill with life. But today, instead of focusing on goods, imagine observing the people, the connections, the rhythm of communication, the unspoken gestures of trust. Sellers arrange their goods not just to make profit, but to help sustain the community. A woman selling peppers shares extra handfuls with someone who cannot afford much. A man offering pottery gives a discount to a young couple preparing for marriage. Another vendor lets children taste fruit before their parents buy it. Every interaction is softened by kindness. A group of friends meets near a canal. They talk about the harvest, upcoming celebrations, and how their children are growing. One brings a small basket of tamales wrapped in leaves. They share the food, laughing gently, taking turns with stories. Aztec social life is not dominated by noise or chaos. It is shaped by calm companionship, steady rhythms of cooperation, and a sense of belonging. Feel your body sink deeper into that sense of belonging. Now imagine the schools, different ones for different roles. Boys and girls both learn important skills, but also discipline, poetry, history, dance, and religion. In one classroom, children sit in a circle as a teacher speaks slowly about the origin of the 5 suns. She uses painted wooden figures to illustrate the gods, moving them gently so the children's eyes follow the story with fascination. In another classroom, boys practice carrying bundles of wood, learning endurance but also patience. Their instructor reminds them to move with grace, not force. The Aztec ideal is not brute strength, but balanced character. In another space, girls weave cloth, learning patterns from their mothers and teachers. Their fingers move with increasing confidence. They talk softly about weddings, festivals, dreams, and friendships. Each lesson, even the simplest, feels peaceful. Even the strictest teacher speaks with a slow, steady voice. Now imagine returning home at midday. The sun warms the earth. A cool breeze drifts from the lake. Families gather for lunch, tortillas, beans, squash, chilies, perhaps some fresh fish or herbs. They eat together, offering food to elders first. Gratitude is expressed quietly, not with formal rituals but with soft looks, shared servings, and gentle gestures. After the meal, families rest. Some nap. Some sit in shady places weaving or repairing tools. Some tell stories. Some simply enjoy the quiet. Everything moves at the pace of breath. Later in the afternoon, neighbors help each other with tasks. Repairing roofs, building fences, harvesting vegetables, preparing for ceremonies. Children follow along, handing tools, learning how cooperation works. Imagine standing with them, feeling the satisfaction of shared effort, hearing the faint laughter as someone tells a small joke, feeling the warmth of sunlight filtering through leaves as evening arrives. Families gather at the edge of canals to watch the sunset. The water glows orange, gold, and red. The city appears almost magical in this light. Its causeways, towers, gardens, and homes reflecting the beauty of the sky. People talk softly about their day. Some recite poetry. Some share memories. Some sit in silence, letting the beauty speak for itself. When night arrives, lanterns glow across courtyards. Music drifts gently, flutes, soft drums, rattles made from shells. Children fall asleep in the arms of parents. Dogs curl near hearths. Elders close their eyes, listening to the calming sounds of night. Families offer a final prayer of the day, a simple whisper of gratitude. Then the city rests under a sky filled with stars. Let your breath fall into this rest, slow, gentle, unhurried. Feel the warmth of families gathered together. Feel the sense of belonging that spreads through the community. Feel the comfort of a society where people care for each other deeply, quietly, consistently. Take a slow breath in, hold it gently, and let it drift out like a small boat gliding across calm water. Now settle into stillness as we move into another deep chapter. The quiet, often overlooked world of Aztec trade, travel, and the subtle networks that held their empire together. Imagine yourself standing at dawn on a long, straight causeway stretching across the lake. The air is cool. Mist rises in soft spirals from the water's surface. Faraway mountains glow in pale gold. The city of Tenochtitlan sits behind you, shimmering like an island made of light. Ahead of you, travelers walk calmly in the morning quiet. Their footsteps fall softly on the packed earth. They carry woven baskets, clay pots, bundles of herbs, stacks of cloth, and bright feathers tied in careful arrangements. There is no shouting, no rush, only the gentle murmur of voices and the rhythmic sound of footsteps. This causeway is one of the arteries of the empire, a path used by merchants, messengers, pilgrims, and families visiting loved ones. Trade, communication, and social life all depend on these calm networks. Imagine joining the travelers. The morning sun warms your face. Waterbirds call softly from the reeds. Small waves lap against the edges of the walkway. Some travelers push small canoes through the shallow water beside the causeway. Others walk barefoot, enjoying the cool earth beneath their feet. The Aztec world is connected not by wheels or horses, but by human pathways, roads built with purpose, maintained with care, traveled with patience. Let your breath fall into their rhythm. slow, steady, carrying you deeper. Now imagine approaching a resting station, a tamim lodge built for porters who carry heavy loads across long distances. A group of porters is sitting under a thatched roof, drinking warm atoll from clay cups. Their faces show calm endurance, strength earned from constant movement. A man adjusts the wide cotton strap that loops around his forehead, used to support the weight of the basket he carries on his back. Another man massages his shoulders with a mixture of herbs and warm oil. They speak quietly, sharing stories of the villages they've visited, the people they've met, the foods they've tasted. Porters are respected for their resilience, traveling hundreds of miles by foot, connecting distant regions to the heart of the empire. Imagine listening to their quiet conversations, their warm laughter, the peaceful camaraderie formed from long journeys shared. Now, continue walking, and soon you reach a small marketplace on the mainland. It is smaller than the great Tlatelolco market, but just as peaceful and welcoming. Vendors spread woven cloths on the ground and place their goods carefully. Bright parrot feathers, smooth obsidian blades, hand-carved wooden tools, bundles of sweet-smelling vanilla pods, bright chili peppers tied in strands like red jewels. Nearby, a woman offers cacao beans, precious not only as a drink but as currency. She measures out exact amounts with the precision of a mathematician. Her fingers move smoothly as she counts, her voice low and pleasant. A fisherman arrives with nets full of silver fish. He sprinkles fresh water over them to keep them glistening under the sunlight. His face is calm, his movements deliberate. He sits cross-legged beside his baskets, humming softly as people approach. The marketplace is a tapestry of color, texture, scent, and sound, but never chaotic. Everything is softened by the collective calm of a society that values balance. You move deeper into the market, where artisans gather. A goldsmith polishes tiny ornaments with a cloth made from soft fibers. A jeweler threads jade beads into a necklace, each bead glowing with deep green light. Their work is steady, gentle, almost meditative. Let your breathing match their movements, smooth, intentional, peaceful. Farther along, a storyteller sits beneath a woven canopy. Children gather around him, legs crossed, eyes wide. His voice is warm and deep as he recounts tales of legendary merchants, heroic travelers, and sacred paths leading to distant mountains where gods were said to live. The children listen in a dreamy quiet, leaning closer to catch each detail. Some mimic the gestures the storyteller makes. Others gaze into the distance, imagining themselves on roads that stretch far beyond the horizon. You walk past them with a smile, feeling the warmth of this moment settle gently in your chest. Now imagine continuing along a trade route leading out of the valley. The ground becomes firmer. The air grows drier. Tall maguey plants stand like sentinels along the roadside. The Aztecs built thousands of miles of these roads, linking highland cities, coastal communities, mountain passes, and valleys filled with fertile fields. Travel along them is slow but steady, and no one rushes. The world moves at the pace of footsteps and breath. You pass a caravan of merchants from faraway lands. Their clothing is different. Bright patterns from the Aztec region, heavy cloaks from the highlands, cotton robes dyed with coastal dyes. They carry baskets filled with salt, rubber, rare shells, dried fruits, stones used for pigments. They greet you gently with a nod, a sign of respect and safe travel. Imagine walking alongside them, listening as they speak of distant oceans, towering mountains, and forests filled with birds whose feathers glow like emeralds. The Aztec Empire thrives on this movement, quiet, continuous, human-powered. Now picture reaching a larger city outside Tenochtitlan. Its plaza is busy but peaceful. Dancers practice in slow movements. Children carry water from a large ceramic jar. Old men sit carving reeds into instruments. Women pound maize into flour at rhythmic intervals. thump, thump, thump. Each sound blends into a soft, living heartbeat of the city. This is how the empire breathes, not through force, not through wealth, but through connection. Let yourself drift deeper into that connection. You join a small trade festival where people come together to exchange surplus goods. There is laughter, shared food, small gifts given simply to show kindness. A young girl gives a flower to a stranger. A man hands a handful of corn kernels to a child passing by. A woman gives a newly woven cloth to an elder who needs warmth. These gentle gestures build trust across the empire. Silent threads. In a vast, living network. Now imagine night falling again. Travelers gather around small fires. They share stories of the day's journey. They eat warm tamales wrapped in leaves. They sip chocolate flavored with flowers. They lay out woven mats and rest their heads on soft bundles. The stars shine brightly overhead. The moon casts a silvery glow. The air cools, calm and clean. You hear someone playing a flute, soft, slow notes drifting upward like smoke. Another person taps a small drum with gentle fingers matching the heartbeat of the night. Everyone settles down, wrapped in blankets. The fire crackles. The night insects sing. The distant lake whispers. It is peaceful, deeply peaceful, at a world held together by paths and people, by journeys and exchanges, by soft voices and shared warmth. Let yourself rest inside that peace, breathe with it, sink into it. Because in the quiet networks of the Aztec Empire, everything is connected, every village, every traveler, every merchant, every blessing. Take a slow breath in and let it fall gently out of your chest, allowing the weight of the day to drift away. Tonight, you enter one of the most beautiful and misunderstood parts of Aztec life. Not warfare, not sacrifice, not power, but celebration, the soft heartbeat of their calendar, the rhythm that carried their spirit forward month after month. 15 times a year, the Aztecs held festivals, each one full of poetry, dance, music, offerings, and peaceful rituals that welcomed rain, honored seasons, and brought families together. Imagine evening descending over Tenochtitlan as a festival night approaches. The air is warm with anticipation. Lanterns flicker softly in doorways. People move calmly through the streets, carrying flowers, bundles of herbs, fragrant incense, woven cloths, and small clay cups filled with chocolate. The city feels alive in a gentle way, not loud, not chaotic, but glowing, humming, breathing. Let your breath match that hum. Steady, peaceful, warm. Imagine walking toward the main plaza. You hear flutes playing slow, drifting melodies. You hear soft drums echoing like distant footsteps. You hear the low murmur of families greeting each other, wishing blessings for the coming season. The festival begins at twilight, when the sun dips low and gold light washes across the city. Villagers from surrounding islands and towns arrive by canoe. The lake glows with reflections of their torches, turning the water into a field of floating stars. Some boats carry musicians, some carry dancers, some carry elders wrapped in thick cloaks, their faces serene as they watch the city approach. When they reach the shore, they step onto the docks quietly, as if entering sacred ground. Children run forward to greet them with small garlands of marigold and white blossoms. The elders accept the flowers with gentle smiles. Now imagine making your way through the plaza. Vendors set up small stands offering warm tamales, fresh fruit, cacao drinks, and sweet cakes made from honey and seeds. The smells drift through the area, warm, comforting, filled with memory. Families spread woven mats on the ground, preparing places to sit. Musicians gather in groups. Flautists, drummers, shell rattle players, conch blowers. Their instruments gleam softly in the lantern light. A calm voice carries through the air as an elder begins the opening blessing. He raises a bowl of copal incense. The smoke curls upward in long spirals, drifting toward the darkening sky, and he asks the gods not for power or conquest, but for balance, for rain when needed, sun when needed, food for the people, protection for the sick, and peace for all spirits. The crowd grows still, breathing with him in and out, 1,000 breaths becoming one. Then the drums begin, slow, deep, steady. They sound like the heartbeat of the earth. Flutes join in, weaving their melodies gently through the rhythm. Dancers step forward. They move not in sharp motions, but in slow, flowing circles. Their feet glide across the stone as if barely touching it. Their arms rise and fall like waves. Their clothing glitters softly, feathers shimmering in the lantern light, shells clicking gently at their ankles, painted designs glowing faintly under the fire. Each movement carries meaning. A prayer for rain, a gesture of gratitude for harvest, a reminder of harmony between humans and nature. As you watch, feel your breath follow their rhythm, slow, circular, continuous. Now imagine drifting to the edge of the plaza, where families gather for quieter rituals. A mother braids her daughter's hair, weaving in flowers for the celebration. The daughter sits peacefully, hands folded in her lap, listening to the music. That a father places a small painted clay figurine beside their mat, an offering for protection nearby. An elderly couple shares warm atoll from a cup, passing it gently back and forth. They sit close together, watching the dancers with eyes that have seen many festivals over many years. Their hands rest lightly against each other. Children play softly on the side, chasing fireflies, spinning in circles, laughing in quiet bursts. Their joy pure but never disruptive. The festival grows brighter as darkness deepens. Canoes filled with lanterns float into the canals. Some carry flowers, some carry candles. Some carry small offerings made by families who cannot travel far. The lanterns drift like gentle spirits on the water, illuminating the city with a moving golden glow. Now imagine walking toward a smaller ritual site at the edge of the plaza. A group of women kneels in front of a temporary altar decorated with colorful paper, flowers, and corn. Their voices rise in soft song, steady, harmonious, soothing. The melody speaks of gratitude for life, of the cycles of nature, of ancestors who still watch lovingly from unseen realms. Their song wraps around you like a warm blanket, filling your chest with a soft sense of belonging. Nearby, storytellers gather beneath a large tree. An elder steps forward, holding a staff adorned with feathers. The children settle quickly around him, eyes bright in the firelight. The adults sit behind them, resting on mats. The storyteller begins slowly, his voice deep and calm. He tells of the gods creating the world, not in a single moment, but through cycles of trial and error, love and sacrifice. He speaks of the 5 suns, each an age of the world, each ending and beginning anew. His words drift upward like smoke, wrapping around the listeners' hearts. You sit among them, breathing in the ancient rhythm of the tale. His voice is steady, hypnotic. His words paint scenes in your mind, mountains rising from the sea, stars falling like sparks, gods meeting in secret places, earth forming under their feet. The night deepens, lanterns glow brighter. The air cools softly. A group of priests walks through the crowd ringing small bells. The bells are not sharp or loud. They produce a soft, tinkling tone that seems to shimmer in the air like floating crystal. They sprinkle flower petals along the ground as they walk. People bow their heads gently. The petals fall in slow spirals, adding delicate color to the stone paths. Now imagine drifting to the calm edge of a canal. The water reflects the lanterns, the moon, the dancers, the movement of the crowd. It looks like a second sky beneath your feet. Families sit along the water's edge, dipping their fingers into the cool surface. A woman releases a small candle boat, a tiny craft made of reeds. carrying a flame that flickers softly in the breeze. She whispers a blessing for a relative far away. The boat floats off, joining dozens of others drifting peacefully toward the center of the lake. The city feels sacred in this moment, a place suspended between earth and sky, between past and present, between people and gods. Let that image settle deep in your body. The lanterns, the music, the gentle hum of celebration, the soft unity of thousands breathing together. You walk back into the plaza and the dancing intensifies, not in speed, but in depth. Movements grow more expressive. Flutes rise higher. Drums vibrate deeper. Yet the mood remains calm, warm, peaceful. A young dancer moves with incredible grace, each step slow and controlled. She represents the wind. Her cloak flows like moving air. When she raises her arms, feathers ripple softly behind her. Another dancer moves like water, fluid, grounding, serene. His hands mimic the flow of waves. His feet glide with minimal sound. Together, the dancers create a story without words. A story everyone understands with their hearts. As the night approaches its deepest point, the music softens again. People begin lying back on their mats, some resting their heads unfolded. Cloths, some leaning against family members. Children fall asleep first, their tiny faces illuminated by lantern light. Elders lower themselves to the ground with care. They close their eyes and breathe in the cool night air, remembering festivals they attended decades ago. Even the dancers sit to rest, their feathers and beads shimmering softly as they catch their breath. The plaza becomes quiet, not silent, but filled with a peaceful, shared stillness that I in the distance. Drums fade into slow, heartbeat like pulses. Flutes play long, soft notes that stretch like mist across the lake. A priest offers a final blessing for the night, speaking not loudly, but gently, almost like a whisper carried by the wind. He thanks the gods for unity, for beauty, for life, for breath. For another cycle fulfilled, he asks for calm hearts, safe dreams, and peaceful mornings for everyone gathered. The people bow their heads one last time. Lanterns grow dimmer. The moon rises higher. The city slowly returns to a deeper, quieter rhythm. You walk away from the plaza, feet moving softly across the stone. The music fades behind you. The lake reflects the stars like a silver tapestry. The air cools and sweetens, a sense of calm fills your entire body. You feel connected to the people, to the night, to the rhythm of celebration. The gentle heartbeat of a civilization that found peace in unity, gratitude, and ritual. Your breath deepens, slows, softens. Take a deep, slow breath. Let the air fill your chest. And as you exhale, let your entire body soften into the moment. Tonight's journey takes you into one of the gentlest and most peaceful places in all Aztec life. The healing houses, the calm rituals of medicine, and the quiet sanctuary where dreams were considered a doorway to wisdom. Imagine dawn approaching Tenochtitlan, not with noise but with a soft, pale glow. The city is still half asleep, wrapped in warm shadows and drifting mist rising. From the lake, the temples stand tall but silent. The canals stretch out like silver ribbons in the dim light. Birdsong echoes faintly through the air, not sharp, but low and melodic, as if easing the city awake. Now imagine yourself walking slowly through this early morning calm. Your steps are light on the stone causeway. The air is cool but comforting, with hints of flowers, herbs, and the earthy scent of damp soil. Everything feels slower, softer, peaceful. You approach a quiet district near the center of the island, where the Tenochtitlan, the wise healers and philosophers, lived and practiced. Their homes are simple but surrounded by gardens full of medicinal plants, white flowers for calming the breath, green herbs for easing pain, blossoms that open only at dawn, and leaves used to soothe the spirit. The garden paths are lined with smooth stones, dew rests on every leaf. The world feels fresh, renewed, ready for gentle work that as you walk deeper into the garden. You see a healer kneeling beside a small clay pot, mixing herbs with calm, practiced hands. He moves slowly, deliberately, as though the act of healing starts long before the mixture touches anyone's body. His face is peaceful, his shoulders relaxed. He hums quietly, a low tune that blends with the birds and the breeze. You watch him for a moment, letting his rhythm become yours. Each movement of his hands feels like a breath. Each breath feels like a soft wave rolling through your mind. Then he lifts his head and smiles at you, a warm, gentle smile, full of welcome but free of urgency. He gestures for you to follow him deeper into the healer's sanctuary. You follow along a narrow path lined with tall plants. Their leaves brush lightly against your arms. The sun begins to rise, sending golden beams through the garden, illuminating the morning mist. Everything glows. You arrive at a small building made of smooth stone and thick wooden beams. Inside, it is dim and cool, lit by only a few lanterns and the soft shimmer of sunlight filtering through woven curtains. The air smells of sage, copal, and crushed flowers. A woman, another healer, sits at a low table grinding herbs with a stone mortar. Her movements are slow and smooth, almost hypnotic. You notice that she occasionally pauses to close her eyes and breathe deeply, as though listening to the subtle pulse of the person she will be treating. In Aztec culture, healing was not just physical. It was spiritual, emotional, and cosmic. The healers believed that imbalance came from blocked breath, troubled dreams, lost harmony, or too much noise in the heart, so they helped people find stillness first. Treatments always began with quiet. The woman looks up at you, her eyes soft and kind. She gestures for you to sit on a woven mat. The mat is warm from the morning sun, and the moment you settle onto it, your body loosens slightly, relaxing into the gentle space. The healer places several small clay bowls around you, one with crushed white petals, another with green leaves, a third with warm scented water, and a fourth holding tiny polished stones. She does not speak. She simply breathes deeply and invites you to do the same. You inhale slowly and exhale, again and again, each breath dissolving tension, quieting thought, softening your chest. The healer dips her fingers into the water and gently sprinkles a few drops on your hands. The water smells faintly of flowers and earth that it feels cool, soothing. Then she picks up the bowl of white petals and lets them fall between her fingers in a slow, rhythmic cascade. The petals float down like snow, brushing your skin lightly. In Aztec healing, white petals symbolized clarity, clearing the mind, clearing the heart, clearing the pathways for healthy breath. You feel your shoulders loosen even more. Your jaw relaxes. Even the muscles behind your eyes soften. The healer hums softly, a calm, continuous sound that seems to vibrate gently in your chest. Another healer enters the room carrying a bundle of fresh herbs tied with fiber string. He shakes it lightly, releasing a gentle scent into the air. The herbs are used not to push away illness, but to welcome balance. He moves behind you and slowly wafts the scent toward your shoulders. You feel warmth spreading along your back. Your breath deepens unconsciously. Then, he places a warm stone in each of your palms. The stones hold heat from the morning fire outside. They feel grounding, ancient, steady, like pieces of the earth lending you their strength. You hold them, you imagine your breath sinking into the stones, becoming heavier, calmer, anchoring you to the earth. The healers sit beside you now, forming a small circle. They do not touch you, but their presence feels enveloping, like a protective shell of calm. They close their eyes and begin a low, slow chant, a tone that rises and falls like gentle waves. The sound does not overwhelm you. Instead, it fills the space around you like warm light. The chant was believed to call harmony back into the body, to realign breath and spirit, to settle restless thoughts. The vibration settles deep into your bones. You feel light. You feel steady. You feel safe. Now imagine the healers guiding you out of the sanctuary and into a second building, a structure known as the House of Dreams. The Aztecs believed dreams were messages, not random illusions. Dreams guided decisions, revealed imbalances, and illuminated the secret movements of the heart. The House of Dreams was a place where people could enter sleep under the watch of healers, who then interpreted the visions that came. The interior of the building is darker than the healing house. Soft woven curtains cover the walls. Lanterns flicker gently. The floor is layered with thick mats, pillows, and soft blankets made of woven fibers. You lie down on one of them. The blanket feels warm and comforting, like a gentle embrace. The pillow supports your head in a way that makes every muscle in your neck release tension instantly. Your arms fall to your sides. Your chest rises and falls in slow, even waves. A healer places a small clay bowl at your feet, filled with water infused with flowers. Beside your head, she sets a carved wooden charm shaped like a crescent moon, a symbol of safe sleep and soft dreams. Then, she sits beside you and begins to whisper a slow, rhythmic lullaby. The melody has no sharp notes, no sudden changes, just a continuous flowing sound designed to guide people into gentle sleep. Another healer places his palm near your forehead, not touching, but close enough that you can feel the warmth radiating outward. This gesture was believed to calm the mind, easing away the restless flutter of thoughts. Your eyes grow heavier, every blink longer than the last. You feel your breathing deepen. Your belly rises and falls in slow, rhythmic waves. Your limbs become warm and heavy. The room fades into a soft blur of warmth and shadow. You feel yourself drifting, floating, sliding gently into a dreamlike state. The House of Dreams fills with soft music, flutes playing long, breathy notes, drums tapping faintly like a distant heartbeat, rattles shaking in slow, rhythmic patterns. You are not fully asleep, not fully awake. Held in a warm space in between, a healer sits at your side with a bowl of herbs steaming gently. He places it near your chest, allowing the warm vapor to rise and drift over your body. The vapor smells like fresh earth after rain. It smells like warm leaves. It smells like calm. Your fingers loosen. Your toes soften. Your thoughts unravel like threads, drifting away. Night begins to fade into early dawn. The light grows warmer. The air shifts. The music grows distant again. You wake slowly, not abruptly, but like a soft tide returning to shore. Your body feels looser. Your chest feels open. Your mind feels clearer. The healers smile at you, warm and serene. They place a small flower behind your ear, a symbol that your spirit has been refreshed. You step back into the garden. The sun rises fully now, turning the leaves gold. The air is warm but crisp. Birds sing. Water drips gently from stone basins as you walk along the garden path. You feel a sense of renewal settle over your entire body. Your mind is quiet. Your heart is steady. Your breath moves easily. The healers return to their work. Families begin to visit for treatment. The city wakes with calm energy, and you carry the peace of the healing house with you. Every step, every breath, every gentle movement. Slow your breathing. Let your shoulders drift downward. Allow your jaw to loosen and settle into this final, gentle chapter of our long journey through Aztec civilization. You have traveled through gardens, temples, healing houses, markets, rituals, myths, and quiet landscapes. Now we arrive at the last evening, a peaceful twilight that falls softly over the lake-bound city of Tenochtitlan. It begins with the sky shifting into warmer shades of gold and red. The sun hangs low above the distant mountains, spreading long rays of light across the water. Ripples shimmer like sheets of molten copper. Birds glide low over the surface, sending gentle waves outward in slow arcs. The entire world feels like it is exhaling. Gently, slowly, fully, imagine yourself walking along one of the city's long stone causeways, the ones that stretch across the lake like floating paths. The air is warm but soft, carrying the faint scent of flowers, wet earth, and distant cooking fires. The wind brushes lightly against your face, and every step you take echoes in the calm evening AI or datio your left and right. The lake expands in quiet stillness. Its surface mirrors the sky in perfect reflection. Gold melting into red, red fading into muted shades of blue. Water lilies float in clusters, their petals closing gently as they prepare for nightfall. Ahead, the city rises. A grand vision of stone towers, terraces, and temples illuminated by fading sunlight. But even the great temples appear gentler now, softened by the dusk. Their sharp lines blur slightly. Their shadows grow long and warm. The entire city seems to glow with subtle life. You enter one of the outer districts, where the evening routine feels calm and rhythmic. Families return from the market with baskets of corn, beans, peppers, and fresh herbs. Children laugh softly as they chase each other through courtyards. Elders sit outside their homes, warming their hands beside small fires. Everything is unhurried. Everything flows gently. You continue deeper into the city, noticing as the sounds around you become softer. Not silent, but softened, like the entire city is speaking in a whisper. A group of canoers glide along a narrow canal, paddling slowly with long wooden oars. Each stroke breaks the surface of the water with a soft, rhythmic sound. A steady dip, a gentle pull, a quiet ripple trailing behind them. The canoes carry baskets of flowers harvested from the chinampas. The floating gardens, their soft colors glow in the last rays of daylight. You pause on a small bridge and watch the canoes pass beneath you. Their lanterns sway gently, casting warm reflections on the water. The moment feels suspended, timeless, weightless. Then you continue walking, following a path lined with tall reeds that sway lightly in the breeze. As you walk, you reach the great plaza, the beating heart of Tenochtitlan. But tonight, it is calm. Vendors close their stalls. Priests walk slowly across the stone floors. Scribes finish their work and pack away scrolls. The sounds of the day fade into a low hum that feels almost like a lullaby. At the far end of the plaza, you see a small group of musicians gathering. They carry flutes made of bone and clay, drums of soft, stretched hide, and rattles decorated with seeds. They take a seat beneath a low stone wall and begin to play, quietly, gently, like they are weaving a blanket of sound for the night. The flute breathes out long, slow notes. The drum taps in a steady, heartbeat-like rhythm. The rattle shakes only occasionally, like wind brushing against dry leaves. The music does not call attention to itself, it simply fills the air, drifting through the plaza, down the canals, and into the open windows of nearby homes. That it feels like a soft embrace. Now you move toward the edge of the plaza, where a staircase leads up to a tall terrace overlooking the entire city. You begin to climb, slowly, feeling the warmth of the steps beneath your feet. With each step, the sounds below grow quieter, until all you hear is your own breath and the distant hum of evening life. At the top, you reach a wide stone platform covered in woven mats and clay lanterns. This space is known as a calm lookout, a place where people come to think, to breathe, to watch the sunset, and to let go of the day. You walk to the edge and sit down on one of the mats. It's soft and warm from the sun. The moment you sit, your muscles loosen, your breath deepens, and your body begins to settle into the tranquil rhythm of the city. The view is breathtaking. The lake surrounds the city like a vast, shining mirror. Temple tops rise like islands. Canoes glide like shadows across the water. Mountains stand tall in every direction. silhouetted against the fading sky. The lanterns below begin to glow, one by one, as families light them outside their homes. Soon the city becomes a constellation. Tiny, warm lights spreading across the island like scattered stars. A gentle wind blows across your skin. You feel its softness, its warmth, its steady rhythm. The air smells faintly of burning copal, crushed, flowers and warm stone. Then, from behind you, a healer approaches. The same calm healers who guided you earlier in the House of Dreams. He carries a small clay bowl filled with fragrant herbs. He sits beside you on the terrace, not speaking, simply breathing with the same slow, steady rhythm as the night. He places the bowl between you, allowing the warmth and scent to rise in delicate streams. The smell is grounding, earthy, sweet, floral. It wraps around you like a soft blanket. You watch the last rays of sunlight fade behind the mountains. The sky deepens into deeper shades of blue. Stars appear, one by one, faint at first, then brighter. The healer tilts his head upward, breathing quietly, as though listening to the night sky itself. Then he gestures toward the city, inviting you to observe, to absorb, to feel the quiet heartbeat of Tenochtitlan in its final, peaceful moments of the day. As night fully settles, the city becomes silent in the gentlest way, not empty, but resting. A living place exhaling after a long day. Below you, the canals shine like ribbons of moonlight. Lantern reflections sway on the water. Soft voices drift from distant homes. The air cools slightly, refreshing your skin. The healer stands slowly and places a small woven charm beside you. A symbol of peace, rest, and safe dreaming. It is made of reeds and decorated with a single feather. He nods to you once, warmly, then walks away across the terrace, disappearing into the shadows. You remain seated, watching the last flicker of dusk fade into night. Your chest rises and falls in slow, steady waves. Your eyes grow heavier, your breath deeper, your mind quieter. You lie down on the woven mat, resting your head gently. The stone beneath you is warm, comforting. The lanterns glow softly above you. The music from the plaza drifts upward once more. Flute, drum, rattle, each sound blending into the night. Your body grows heavier, your limbs soften. Your thoughts drift like gentle ripples across the lake. And in this final moment, Tenochtitlan holds you, calm, peaceful, timeless. You feel yourself surrendering to the night, to the stillness, to the soft rhythm of an ancient city breathing beneath the stars. Your mind floats, your breath deepens, and sleep begins to pull you into its warm, quiet embrace. The story fades, the music softens, and the night becomes infinite. Sleep well, traveler of ancient worlds. May the calm of the Aztec twilight carry you into the deepest, most peaceful rest.